Manikia, did you hear me? Anyone?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Did you hear me?
I did, yes. I can
Okay.
not go to the office of the public defender.
Okay. Yeah. You guys sound like you're underwater.
Oh, that's good.
So I can't really make out what you're saying.
Is this any better?
No, it's your voice. It's not the picture. I don't really need to see you.
Okay, let me try to take the video off and see if it works better.
It's it sounds like you're underwater.
I'm going to put it on mute and then you still hear the same thing that I'm
Yeah, I mean, that's not gonna work. Like, we can't make out anything you're saying. Did she say she was gonna disconnect and then call? You couldn't interpret? You couldn't interpret that?
Can you hear me now?
It's the same.
Okay. I can try to re-link on.
I got you now.
Is the interpreter on the line? Is the interpreter on the line? I guess they went off the line. I thought Friday was going to be a better day. I know. Yeah. I'm getting voicemail. Okay, well, we're going to have to wait to do the interpreter cases. Miss Taylor, are you over there? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I cannot get in touch with the interpreters. When I dial it, it just goes to voicemail.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do the interpreters later.
Okay. You want to start with the with the private attorney?
That sounds great. Miss Adamson, have you figured out what's going on with Mr. Reese?
I can do at least one at Mr. Reese's. We're in the process, but I'm waiting.
Oh, we could just wait and start.
Okay,
We can wait. I mean, it's up to you.
I'm gonna wait till Miss Adamson has some more clarity on that one.
We still getting the back of you.
Are they with her?
Okay, we're gonna call back the interpreter in 15 minutes.
Okay, Your Honor, the video is still the back of you.
I know, the AV has advised me that they're working on that.
Oh.
It's because now we've added the public defender, and it treats this camera as the primary camera, so,
Okay, just wanted you to be aware.
yeah, I'm sorry, there's really nothing I can do, so I hope my hair looks okay from the back.
Yeah.
Judge Rick, can you hear me any better now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna start.
So are we starting
with
with
the resets? With the
all
reset?
interpreter? Okay.
Are we gonna start with the reset, the regular docket?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Miss Glover Gambles, what case are you here for?
Daniel Rakes, Your Honor?
Rakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
R-A-I-K-E-S.
Is that a felony? It's a misdemeanor? Okay, yeah, that's second session, so somebody's gonna have to grab it from my office. Is there anyone in the office that can grab it? All right. I can't see the defendant.
You can see my window.
Is there a defendant in there?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. I can't see anything on the computer. I'm like flying blind today.
It
Can you tell
looks
me
like
your
it's black. When we see it in the corner, it's turning black.
Okay. All right, well, we're just gonna have to deal with it for this morning. Can you tell me your name, sir?
Leroy Christopher Quinton Royal IV.
All right, Mr. Royal, you're here in 2019 CF 419AO. And this is a failure to appear for a trial management conference on June 11th, 2020.
Yes, ma'am. I went to,
Let the judge finish. Hold on.
Mr. Royal, I know you may have a reason why you didn't show up, but unfortunately, I can't change the capias. So it looks like Judge Wilson's gonna have to hear any motions to set bond.
no,
She set your, I cannot by law change the capias, Mr. Royal. So
no, I'm not trying to change anything, y'all. May I speak,
Okay.
please?
You can talk. I'm gonna advise you that anything that you say can and likely will be used against you. So just be very careful what you say. Does he have the PD?
Yes,
You have conflict counsel. Okay.
yes.
What is it that you want to tell me?
Your Honor, this is Ari Custon. I was doing the hearings yesterday, and this was reset because it was, I believe, just a few days ago, he had a hearing, and the state was going to reach out to the JA and see if they could modify the bond based on the fact it was. He says that he went into court and that they told him to go home, and then he went back in to check, and that's how they arrested him.
Judge, I have an email from Judge Wilson.
Your Honor?
Okay.
8:01 this morning. From 8:01 this morning. It says, per Judge Wilson, I'll forward it, I can forward it.
No, that's fine.
Per Judge Wilson, the bond can be changed to $2,000 on carrying concealed firearm, $750 on exposure, $3,000 on PFCF. I don't know what that one was. And then $750 on the resisting without violence. Let me look at this.
Okay, so for count one, she said 7,500.
Can you tell what count one is?
Count one on the order of commitment that I have is possession of a firearm by a convicted
That's
felon.
$3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, she has $3,000.
Okay. And then count two is carrying concealed weapon by a convicted felon.
That is $2,000.
All right. Resisting an officer without violence.
That is $750.
And then exposure of sexual organs.
That is $750. I will forward that email to you.
That's fine.
Send
Okay.
it to you right now.
We'll put that in the court file as well. All right. So, Mr. Royal, did you hear that?
Your Honor, may I say something, please? Yes, I did hear that.
Okay. So you have bonds. Okay.
Your Honor, I was bonded out May the 3rd.
I understand what you're saying. I have to go by what Judge Wilson's saying. So if you can't make those bonds, you're gonna have to contact your attorney.
I did.
And they'll have to file a bond motion for you to reduce the bonds, but you're
No,
not
no.
sitting in there no bond.
Listen, Your Honor, my bond was paid May the 3rd. I was released. I was sitting in here since last January 2019. My bond was paid May the 3rd. I was released. And then I went to a court date, May 27th. They told me the courthouse was closed. I went down to Orange County Courthouse, downtown, 425 North Orange Avenue. They said it was closed. I went to the scheduled court date on June the 3rd. They said that was closed. I came back again June the 9th. They said courthouse is closed. There will be no court. They will schedule me a new court date within 2 to 3 weeks. And I came back there in 2 weeks. I haven't got the court date yet. And when I came back there, all of a sudden I had a warrant. They had a court date on June the 11th without my knowledge. That's how I got the warrant issued. I've been doing what I'm supposed to do ever since I got bonded out. All I'm saying is, can I get a bond for it to appear or get my bond reinstated because I haven't done anything, Your Honor. I've been going to court. The courthouse was closed. That's not my fault. They told me to go home. Thank you. I just got bonded out.
Relax.
They haven't even had a scheduled court date. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, it looks like your bondsman got notice.
I'm sorry, Your
The
Honor.
court date? Your bondsman got notice of the court date for June 11th.
He didn't get in contact with me.
Well, that you're gonna have to put that in the motion for Judge Wilson if you cannot pay the bond, but I can't change it any further, okay?
No, I have a bond.
You have bonds, Mr. Royal.
What on the I'm sorry, I'm not understanding clearly on it. Do I have bonds on is it a new charge on failure to appear or what?
You have bonds on each count that you failed to appear on June 11th. You have a $3,000 bond, a $2,000 bond,
Okay.
a $750 bond, and what was the last one? $750.
Okay,
Okay.
so if I pay those bonds, basically my bonds.
Yes, you will get out.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right, I can't see courtroom 2, so I don't know when somebody's approached the podium. So if somebody could if you could advise the defendants to just state their name when they get to the podium.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Kamal Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. All right, you're here in 2020 CF 7198AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found for battery, domestic violence, aggravated battery with a weapon, and criminal mischief. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. Do we have any witnesses present for Mr. Cooper? Nope? Okay. Mr. Cooper, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order form, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on the form?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're also to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. The bond will stay at $5,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2, and count 3 will be $500 as well. Huh? Oh, they have it separate. They have it listed differently. So count 1 will be 500, count 2 will be 5,000, and count 3 will be 500. They just had it on that. All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, do I have any,
I don't like that I can't see.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Ginger Odom, they haven't brought her up yet, if we can put her to the side.
Okay, that's fine.
The next person at the podium is gonna be Michael Perez. And it's-
Okay. Do we have witnesses for Perez? Nope, okay. Mr. Perez, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Okay, all right. Can you state your name for me, please, your full name?
Yes, my name is Michael Javier Perez.
All right, Mr. Perez, you're here in 2020 CF 7817AO. You're arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm, domestic violence, aggravated assault with a firearm. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. And we don't have any witnesses over here, so I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything on the form?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. If you have any firearms or any weapons, you must surrender them to law enforcement within 6 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you on pretrial release. It's very important that you follow all of those requirements that I've imposed as well as what they tell you to do, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket is, Sanders. He's at the podium. Come on.
Okay. Tell me your name, please.
Sanders?
Okay, Mr. Sanders, you're here in 2020 CF 7834AO. You're arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person, false imprisonment, and tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Are there any witnesses present for Mr. Sanders? Nope. Okay, Mr. Sanders, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. You currently already have a no contact order in place in your other case, so I need to make sure that you understand all of those things written on the no contact order. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence, you must be with law enforcement. You can go one time to get anything that you need. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond will be set on count 1 at $3,500, count 2, $2,500, count 3, $150. I'm also revoking the release in 2020 CF 188AO. You'll need to get in touch with Mr. Halim. He represents you in that case. Make sure that you tell him so that he can file any bond motions for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Yes, good morning. My name is Kenneth White.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Good
All right,
morning.
good morning. All right, you're here in 2020 CF 7835AO. You're arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, assault, dating violence, and battery dating violence. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses here for Mr. White? No? Okay. Mr. White, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you understand everything in that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, but you may go back to your residence one time with law enforcement to get anything that you may need, but you must be with law enforcement, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. It looks like that you do have reporting requirements, so you need to make sure that you report as required. Your bond will be set on count 1 at $2,500, count 2, $100, count 3, $500.
So how much is that, Your Honor, in total?
That's $3,100.
Okay, is that cash or bond?
You'll have to contact a bondsman.
Okay, if I use a bondsman, is that 10% or straight?
It may depend on the bondsman, so I can't give you any legal advice. So you might want to either call a bunch of bondsmen, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
My name is Teresa Ami, A-M-Y.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good morning. All right, Miss Ami, you're here in 2020 MM 4661AO. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses for Miss Ami? No. All right, Miss Ami, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order, please.
Okay, can I see my children?
You can see your children as long as you're not communicating with the victim. So I don't know if there's a third party that you can communicate with as it relates to the children.
But
you
they're all
You cannot
adults.
communicate with the victim.
Okay, I just didn't know if I had no contact with my children.
I don't believe the victim is your child, is it?
No, I just read
No.
something there about the children, and
You
they're
if you
adults. My children are.
Okay, well you shouldn't have to worry about getting contact with the children through the victim.
Okay, no, it wouldn't be through them. It's
You're
just-
not exchanging custody, they're not minors, correct?
No, right.
Okay, then you shouldn't have any issues.
Okay, that's what I want to make
All
sure
right.
of.
Let me finish. Okay, so
Okay.
you're to maintain a separate residence from the victim.
Okay.
You may return one time with law enforcement to get anything that you may need.
Okay.
You're not to possess weapons or firearms or ammunition. You do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to release you to pretrial release, so make sure that you comply with those court orders as well as what they tell you to do, okay, ma'am?
Okay. I don't know what that means,
Good luck.
but
Birch Chandler?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chandler. You're here in 2020 MM 4662AO. You're arrested for assault, domestic violence. I do find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. Do we have any witnesses for Mr. Chandler? Nope, okay. Mr. Chandler, I'm ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign that no contact order form, please. Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And I am going to set the bond at $500.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anthony Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. All right, you're here in 2020 MM 162AE. You're arrested for battery. I believe it's domestic violence, resisting an officer without violence, and criminal mischief. And I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I will appoint the public defender. Are there any witnesses here for Mr. Thomas? No? Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, I know it's your brother, but you can't have contact with your brother until anything is changed in writing by a judge, okay? So I'll have you sign the no contact order.
We did, Your Honor.
Do you understand everything on that form?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you all live together?
Trespass from my house. He's not supposed to even be there. So at 630 West Swoop, I'm able to go back there because he's not supposed to be there.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna order that you maintain separate residences, okay?
But I can go back to my 630 because he's not supposed to be there. Yes, ma'am?
I'm not ordering that you can't go back to your home.
Okay, cool.
I
Thanks.
said I ordered that you maintain a separate residence from the victim.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So no weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
No, ma'am.
Your bond on count 1 will be 500, count 2 100, count 3 100. I'm not revoking your release today. Looks like you have, I don't know if there's a court date coming up, but you have an attorney on the case, so you need to make sure you keep in touch with them and you don't miss any court, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck.
Mike Belicazar.
Okay, Mr. Belicazar, you're here. In 2020 CT 4017, you were arrested for reckless driving, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm going to place you in that program. Make sure that you don't get arrested for anything and you comply with their reporting, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Additional conditions?
I'm sorry?
Any additional conditions?
No. All right, sir?
All right, thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Your Honor, the last defendant at the podium, was he PTR, Thomas? Or did he have a bond?
Thomas had a bond. The last person was a reckless driving and I pretrial release.
Okay.
I think Thomas was 500, 100, and 100.
Thank you.
Okay.
Javier Cruz.
Okay, Mr. Cruz, you're here in 2020 CT 4018. You're arrested for driving while license suspended. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You can't drive without a valid driver's license. I'm not going to try to resolve your case today. You're on probation. So, huh?
No objection to ROR.
So I don't know, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance, Mr. Cruz, but you are on probation, so I don't know, your probation officer may file a warrant, so that you may get a warrant for your arrest for a VOP, just so you're aware, okay?
Can we discuss this matter now?
I can't resolve it because you're
I'm
on
not going to
probation.
go on a bond to go back to
I
the
really-
same stuff, ma'am.
Mr.
I'm just gonna
Cruz,
take whatever time you ask me. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Cruz.
Yes.
I released you on your own recognizance. You're not to drive without a valid
I'm
driver's
not gonna
license.
get out. She's just releasing me without me paying a bond? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
That's intelligent. Okay.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Do we have Mr. Wade?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't like that I can't see. Anybody there?
Yes, my name is Mamadou Abbas Wade.
Okay, Mr. Wade, you're here in two cases. 2020 CT 4019, and you were arrested for driving under the influence. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. In that case, yes?
I think I don't have no public defender yet.
I'm appointing
then-
I'm appointing the public defender. Do you not want the public defender?
Excuse me?
All right, I'm taking this off. I can't. Do you not want the public defender? I have appointed them to represent you.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want the public defender? Is that a yes?
Yes, I want the public defender and
Okay. I've appointed them to represent you in your cases, both of your cases. The other one is an expired driver's license over 4 months. And I find probable cause for that offense as well. You cannot drive without a valid driver's license, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm ordering random urinalysis on the DUI offense. If they make you come in and you test dirty, then that can be a violation of your release. So make sure that you're not drinking or taking any drugs unless you have a valid prescription. You do qualify for pretrial release.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
going to place you in that program. Make sure you comply.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay. So can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
I'm sorry?
I wanted to ask a question, ma'am.
Mr. Wade, I would advise you to not speak about the facts of your case because everything you're saying is being recorded.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Do we have Miss Odom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is this Miss Odom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Oh, the air just went off. Oh, I can't today. Okay. All right, Miss Odom, you're here in 2020 CF 7701AO, and this is a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated assault, domestic violence, battery domestic violence, and violation of a condition of pretrial release. And I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. We do have some witnesses present. Can you both raise your right hand to be sworn in, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, there's two of you in there. Each one of you is gonna have to get a little closer to the microphone when I ask you for some testimony, okay? All right, can you each individually state your name for me and spell your last names?
Charles Odom, O-D-O-M.
I'm Charles Odom as well. I'm his father.
So junior and senior. Okay,
The report says there's a Charles Justin Odom.
I think that's junior. Okay, yeah. I think he's referenced as junior throughout the warrant. All right, so I'm going to start with you, Mr. I'll just call you, how do you want to be called?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Mr.
fine.
I'll call you Junior, okay?
So thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, Junior, can you tell me how you know Miss Odom?
She's my wife. We've been married for like 6 years now.
Okay, and do you all live together right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am.
Do you
No.
want to have continued contact?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to have her released today. ROR'd.
Okay. And has there been violence in your relationship in the past?
A little bit. Not that bad though, you know. So everybody gets mad sometimes, but I forgive her. I need her home, you know.
Do you think drugs or alcohol have any involvement?
No drugs and alcohol.
Okay. Any
Kind of maybe
other
some
issues
prescription drugs, but
that she's
I need to talk to her
prescribed?
doctor about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you have any other questions for the victim?
No questions of you.
Okay, Ms. Manikia?
Yes, Your Honor, I have a question. Mr. Odom, are you afraid of Miss Ginger Odom?
I'm sorry?
The question is, are you afraid of her?
No, ma'am, not at all.
And would you like contact with her?
Yes.
And
I'd like her home, please.
Would you feel comfortable calling the police if something happened in the future?
I didn't understand that last
If something
question.
happened in the future, would you feel comfortable in calling the police?
Oh, yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, no, on the,
Yeah, there was no info this morning.
would she qualify for pretrial release because that case has been no info? That's my question to Ms. Berger.
Yes. All right, and then Senior, can you, what is your relationship with Miss Odom? Is that, my guess is your daughter-in-law?
Yes, ma'am.
And then are you afraid of her?
Oh, no, ma'am. Ginger's got a good heart. She just gets upset about things that actually a lot of it doesn't amount to anything. And I was there the night this whole thing occurred, and it was just over nothing but a phone number and her phone that was on there, and my son didn't agree with it. And it was nothing physically where they were actually fighting with their fist or anything like that. And it's hard for Ginger right now to maintain her own address because she doesn't have a job and she's not working unless she went out here and lived on the street.
Okay, I understand that. My concern here is that there was a no contact order in place.
Yes, ma'am.
At the time that this offense is alleged to have occurred, and
But
she was
if-
not supposed to be in the presence of your son. So that's my concern here, is that she's not following the court order.
I totally understand that, but like I just said, that it's hard for her to maintain her own address and live by herself because she does, she's not working and she has no income and she'd have to go out here and live on the street.
Can she stay at the residence and then the victim leave? Is that an option? For
Your
Charles
Honor, in the
Jr. to
beginning, I tried to call, and the first time they relayed a message, but the last time that she was in here with you with first appearance, I told them I didn't want a no contact order at all. I didn't need that. But I guess the judge, whoever the judge was, ordered the no contact.
Well, I think that there's a reason why they order that, and then that wasn't complied with, and now we have another domestic violence arrest. So there's that seems to be a pattern here. So unfortunately, because of the history here and the violation, which is violating the no contact order, I'm going to continue to maintain the no contact order. So she is not going to have contact with you. That may be difficult, but there's too much going on, it appears, and she's violating the court orders. So I could revoke her.
Make it then like no.
I could hold her at
contact?
no bond, even though she has the case that's been, and find that there are no conditions of release that she will comply with. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to release her to pretrial release, but she's going to have to find a place to go, or you're going to have to let her live there and you find a place to go. So, Ms. Odom, you're going to not have contact with the victim in the case. I'm going to have you sign the no contact order form, please.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, for not listening.
I would not, Ms. Odom, I don't want you to admit anything on the record. If you
Yes,
say
ma'am.
anything, it can be used against you, so you don't want to admit to anything or talk about anything. You'll have opportunity to call your public defender, okay?
Okay.
You're gonna,
Is it going to be the same public defender I had before?
I have no idea. So you're gonna have to call the phone number that they give you. You'll have to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred unless the victim has, I believe, left the residence. You can go back with law enforcement one time to get any personal things that you may need. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition, but I will release you to pretrial release.
Thank you
So make
so
sure
much.
make sure you comply. If you get another violation, that's
Yes,
probably not gonna
ma'am.
be a good idea.
I
okay?
know. I know. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for
Your
your
Honor, is there any way you can just make it a no violent contact?
I'm not gonna do that today. And that can be changed in writing by a judge, so her attorneys will have to file a motion to do that.
Okay, Your Honor, I got another question. They're in the process of moving right now, but she actually needs to help him get moved out of the residence where he's at, and he can't do all this by himself because the upstairs apartment, you got to come down the stairs with all this stuff that they have. And I'm wondering if maybe you can wait a couple of days before you put this order in.
No, I'm
because
not
she
gonna do
needs to be
that.
helping him move.
It can be changed in writing by a judge, and I'm sure that he can find some people to help him move or hire some movers, but I'm not gonna allow the contact.
Your Honor, can I go tomorrow or, wait a minute, first thing Monday morning to a judge to try to get it to contact?
You'll have to contact the public defender's office.
Okay.
And they will file a motion with the division judge, and they will make that decision.
Okay. Okay.
All right?
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Huh? Well, let's, Ms. Adamson, do we know what is going on with Mr. Tubbs?
Yes, so Mr. Tubbs, Attorney Adam Reese is representing him on his charge. Previous charge, he'd like to come make an argument, arguing that. So he's in front of Judge Barber and he's coming.
Okay, sounds good. So you're not gonna handle that? Okay. I'm gonna handle Monty Norman. Okay. And do we have Mr. Norman back there?
Yes, we do, Your Honor. You want to do the private attorneys next?
Yeah, I'll get Miss Adamson in and out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Norman. Do you want Tubbs also?
No, Mr. Adam Reese is gonna be coming for Mr. Tubbs later.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
On this session or the next session, because we have him up here now, so I just want to know.
He's gonna get here as soon as he can get here. I don't know when he's coming. It may end up being in the second session depending on when he can get here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
He's downtown in front of another judge right now.
I'll put it back on.
Yes, ma'am.
I get, all right. Can you tell me your name, please?
Come on, Norman.
All right, Mr. Norman, your attorney is present in the courtroom with me, and do you want to place yourself on the record?
Yes, Alicia Adamson for the record.
Okay, and
Present for
Ms.
Mr. Norman.
I'm sorry, did you file a notice?
I have not.
Are you intending to do that today, or? I just want to make sure that he has an attorney.
So I do not plan on filing one today at this, because I haven't actually got to sit down and meet with him. So I'm just appearing for the limited IAs for now.
So what I'll do because of that, and because you don't know whether you're going to represent him, and I don't know when he'll bond out, I'm going to set a determination at council hearing in a week.
That's great.
And then we'll make sure that he has some representation if you're not representing him or somebody else hasn't filed.
Awesome. Thank
Okay?
you. That's perfect.
All right, Mr. Norman, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're here in 2020 CF 7827AO. You're arrested for trafficking in cocaine over 400 grams, trafficking in fentanyl 4 grams or more, possession of cocaine, tampering with physical evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'm not going to appoint the public defender right now. We'll wait until a week from now to see who is representing you, if anybody. Does the state, did you all discuss any sort of bond?
Yes, state will stipulate to 10,000 on count 1, 10,000 on count 2, 150 on count 3, 150 on count 4, 150 on count 5. I'm sorry, 100 on count 5. I was able to pull up his out on bond case, the 2020 CT 1856, and to look at his driving record. He currently has a valid driver's license at this point. The state will announce a null pros on 2020 CT 1856.
Okay, so Mr. Norman, I'm, based on the facts of the case, and the state's null pros of the out on release case, so your Willis is going away, your driving while license suspended is going away today. But I will give you the stipulated bond amount, of 10,000 on count 1, 10,000 on count 2, 150, 150, and 100. So you're not to possess any, or consume any drugs or any alcohol without a valid prescription. You're not, I don't believe you live at that residence, so you're not to return back to that residence. You're not to have any contact with any witness or any co-defendant as named in the affidavit. Do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, keep in touch with Miss Adamson if she's going to be your attorney. If not, we will see you back in a week and we'll see where we're at on that issue, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
For clarification, the defense attorney did show me that he had a valid driver's license as well.
Okay, well, it's up to you guys if you want to null pros cases.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Norman, you only have the one case now, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good weekend. You too.
Are we going to do the status hearings next?
Okay, oh, what is this one? Oh, is this for, we have a private attorney here. I don't know if she went over there first, but, it's Miss Clover Gambles for Daniel Rakes, Raikes, booking number.
Was he on the first session?
No, second. So if we could try and get him over here, but we can do other people in the meantime. I just wanted to let somebody know. I don't know if anybody let anybody
Nobody
know.
didn't let courtroom two know anything.
Okay. She walked in a little bit ago, so, we don't have to do him right this second, but I just want to see if we can get him here and before we're done with session 1.
What was the name again?
Sorry?
It's Rakes, Raikes. First name is Daniel. Last name is Rakes. First name
Thank
is
you, I
Daniel.
have it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mo.
Okay, so do we want to do the Spanish or what did you all want to do next?
Your Honor, can I get the link to this thing, please?
Miss Manikia, we can't hear anything you're saying.
Is this any better?
A little bit.
I was asking if I can get a list of names for the Spanish interpreters.
I don't have a list, but I can name, Miss Kennedy Swanson said she could email them to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anything.
We do 30 for your motion, Your Honor, if you're ready.
Okay, but I've got status hearings too. Does anyone know what we're doing next in courtroom 2?
Oh, do you want to do the status hearing?
Whatever you guys want to do.
Okay, we can do the status hearing, Your Honor.
Okay.
We got first Gonzalez. He's medical.
Okay. He's medical? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so the PD was previously appointed for Mr. Gonzalez. Per Judge Jacobson, the defendant is to be held pending further investigation and direction or until transportation resumes. I do have an order from Judge Jacobson, which looks like it was provided to the state attorney, the court file, and the defendant, but I'm going to hand it to the clerk. All right. And then do we have Murray Wilson?
Wilson, he's medical, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's a Lake County status hearing, and the PD was previously appointed. And so per Judge Singletary, the defendant is to be released ROR. That's 2019 CF 1414, again, a Lake County case. And so he'll be released ROR. I'm not sure if there's any dates that he'll need to appear. I don't have any of that information, so I don't know what other information, but he needs to get in touch with his attorney or find out when his next court date will be in Lake County, but I don't have any information as to that. Okay, and then,
And we have
do
Spanish
we,
interpreter.
okay, I'm gonna try and call back the interpreter.
We have Mr. Soto. Jonathan,
We have
he
the,
refused court.
yeah.
I'm sorry?
Soto, Jonathan, he refused court.
Okay, I'm just gonna get the interpreter on the line. So you're telling me Mr. Soto refused to come to court?
Yes.
Okay.
We have
So
rates.
yesterday, okay. Yesterday it was behavior, today is refusal. I'm gonna address 2020 MM 4651AO, appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikia, did you want to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, he's charged with exposure of sexual organs and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause, no contact with any victim or witness in the case. He's not to return to any Lynx bus, or bus station. And, the bond will stay set at 500 on count 1. Count 2 will be 100. Refusal. And then do we, all the other Spanish are coming?
Yes, they are, Your Honor. I have the
Okay.
private attorney, defendant up here, rates, at the
Okay.
podium. You still can't see us?
I can't see I can't see anything. Like, I can see myself, that's it.
Okay.
So I'm calling the interpreter.
You want me to put rates back? I have the private, you say you have a private attorney in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the interpreter real quick. Okay, Ms. Glover Gambles? Is the interpreter on the line? Is the interpreter on the line? Is the interpreter on the line? Okay, I've got a call. I can't get the interpreter on the line. It won't let me merge the phone calls. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm gonna call Miss Glover Gamble's case. That's Mr. Rakes. I'm sorry, but it's a little crazy in this technologically. We're trying to be very advanced. It's not working today.
Rates. You need rates.
All right. Mr. Rakes, are you there?
No, he's not down, we took him out.
Okay. Oh, okay. It says won't connect.
Daniel Rakes, ma'am.
I'm gonna have to, okay, thank you, Mr. Rakes. I have your attorney, Ms. Glover Gambles here. Do you want to place yourself on the record?
Yes, ma'am.
For the record, Your Honor, I'm Attorney Merrill Glover Gambles.
And Ms. Gambles, or Ms. Glover Gambles, are you filing a notice of appearance for Mr. Rakes?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. I haven't met him. I was hired to appear.
Okay,
this
so
morning for him.
what I'm gonna do, like I did for Miss Adamson's case, is just so he's not sitting there, if he's not able to bond out, get him a termination of counsel hearing. We'll set that in a week, see where we're at. If not, it'll be canceled, okay?
thank
All right, so Mr. Rakes, you're here in 2020 CF 7475AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. And I am going to order that you're not to return back to any Lowe's, no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge?
Yes.
I did speak with Mr. Campbell earlier. No objection to doubling the bond to $3,000 on this case, and then taking no action on the out on bond cases.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will double the bond to $3,000, and Mr. Rakes, today's your lucky day because
Thank
I'm
you.
not going to revoke your release. You have 2 cases you're out on release for. If you pick up another one, I can promise you it's probably not going to be a good day for you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, I do.
Okay. So stay out of trouble. Don't go back to Lowe's. Stay home.
Yes, ma'am.
And keep in touch with your attorneys on the other cases if you have attorneys on those cases. I'm not sure. Do we know if he does or?
Yes, ma'am.
No? Okay. All right. Make sure you don't get arrested or violate any conditions of release, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Okay. Is this the interpreter? Hello? Oh, wait a minute, but. Is the interpreter on the line? No, I can't hear anything. So we're gonna have to call AV, figure out what's going on here. Hey, this is Judge Wish. I'm in courtroom 1. We're on the record and I have you on speaker. I keep calling the interpreter and it won't allow me to merge the calls. They've tried to call us and I've accepted their call, but I can't hear them. Apparently they can hear me.
Okay, that's a lot. Let me look into the picture.
Okay.
So
I've tried.
They're connected.
I can't hear them.
Okay. Who's the interpreter, you know? They have to step on their pedal for them to hear it in the court. For you to hear them.
Okay, well, I don't know who it is. We just call a number and somebody answers. So maybe they can hear what you're saying because you're on speaker.
Okay.
But the clerk's calling them right now. We'll try and figure it out. Also, and I can't, Carlos Morales is the interpreter. He has to hit the pedal? Okay.
Good. Hey, can I call you right back? Right back. Somebody else.
Okay.
Courtroom 1. We get connected.
The other issue is that when the public defender comes on and we're linked up with them, I can't see anybody in courtroom 2. It's just a picture of me, and it's very difficult. I can't.
Yeah, we weren't ever set up for that. Nothing I can really do for it. That's just the nature of that beast because of Econo. That's just how it works.
Okay, well, this yeah, because I don't know when anybody's at the podium. I can't see anybody. It's just not conducive to running a courtroom.
We may have to move back downtown to be able to do that. Yeah, the public defender just doesn't appear. Okay, interpreter. How about now?
Can the interpreter hear me? No, they're not responding, so I don't know.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Hey, Jess, we're gonna get with the interpreters.
Okay.
So please stand by.
Okay.
I'm not gonna have you hang on here. I'll call you back.
Okay.
I'll call the clerk back.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Oh, Mr. Reese left. All right, can we do 33 days?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna have to, they're gonna call the interpreter, Ms. Taylor. We're gonna do 33-day motions, and then maybe Mr. Reese is going back there. Maybe he'll be ready by the time we're done with 33 days. Ms. Manikia, are you still on the line?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, thank God. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start 33-day motions, all right?
Okay.
Okay, so I've got 2020 CF 6443AO, Brandon McGowan.
Granted the state file notice of non-filing for the 33rd day.
All right, that will be granted. And today is the 26th. All right, 2020 CF 6453AO, Willie Joseph Carr Jr.
According to our notes, we did a walkthrough this morning. I don't have the confirmation yet.
Okay, so well, I'll call it second session then, okay?
I'll email it.
Okay, so, next is 2020 CF 6579AO, Kyle Lloyd Van Zant.
To be granted the state file no information.
That will be granted. 2020 CF 6439AO, Treveris Henderson.
That should be granted the state file notice of non-filing for the 33rd day.
That will be granted. 2020 CF 4987AO, Asa Trevor Welch. I'm showing that he bonded on 5/17. The bond was discharged on 6/13. And then he's been in custody for 14 days since the discharge.
That state's gonna file a no information, it's an outbox, so.
Okay, all right, so I'll grant that, so state is filing notice today, or?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so that will be granted. 2020 CF 6465AO, Michael Angelo Florent. Today was the 32nd day, and I didn't see anything filed.
We call it second session.
Sure.
There's an information printed, but I don't have.
Okay. All right, we've got 2020 CF 6546AO, Adrian Abel Diaz Torres.
To be granted the state file notice of non-filing for the 33rd day.
All right, that will be granted. 2020 CF 986AO, Abe Moses Harriel.
That should be granted the state file notice of non-filing for the 33rd day.
Okay, I don't know when you filed it, but his bond was revoked on 6/19.
We filed the notice on 6/25.
Okay, I will grant it.
that guy that just, that's an attorney. Go ahead.
2020 CF 644180 Jocelyn Morency.
That should be granted the state file notice of non-filed before the 33rd day.
All right, and that will be granted. And then we're gonna call Mr. Florent and Mr. Carr second session because the state's indicated that the informations have been walked over or awaiting the information. So we'll call those second session. Now, we haven't heard back, right? About from AV, they haven't called? Okay. So, Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay, do we have Mr. Tubbs available? Mr. Reese is present in the courtroom with me.
Let me go outside and check, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We still haven't figured out what's going on with the interpreter yet, so.
Bobby Tubbs.
Okay, hold on one second, Mr. Tubbs.
Your Honor, the state and I think have an agreement on Mr. Tubbs.
All
If
right.
you want to address it,
Can you announce yourself for the record?
yes, I can.
You might want, I don't know if those microphones are even working. If it's possible, can you do that from that podium? It may be, I don't know if those are on or not. I don't know what's
I'm not touching
working
anything.
in the courtroom.
Yeah, my name is Adam Reese, and I represent Bobby Tubbs, and will be filing notices of appearance on the new matters. I've spoken to the state about the case, and there's a stipulation to bond. Kathy, you would agree to how much?
It was 10,000, same thing that we did with the co-defendant, 10,000 on count one, 10,000 on count two, and then the subsidiaries that are as is, and no action on the out on bond.
Okay, well, I think that's my decision, but.
No, that's
Yeah,
my recommendation.
okay.
And maybe approach.
You can, let me call the case
Okay,
and
sorry.
do the initial first appearance aspect of it, so procedurally.
Sorry for my impatience.
It's okay. All right, so Mr. Tubbs, you're here in 2020 CF 7829AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause for that offense. I'm not going to appoint the public defender because Mr. Reese has indicated he is going to file a notice of appearance in your case. In that case, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am going to stay the bond at the 1,000 in that case. We've got 2020 CF 7826AO. You're charged with trafficking cocaine over 400 grams. Trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, possession of cocaine, tampering with physical evidence, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find that there's probable cause for those offenses, and again, I will not appoint the public defender because Mr. Reese has indicated he's going to represent you. And so I've been advised that the state and Mr. Reese have come to an agreement as to bond or stipulated to a bond in trafficking and in all of the offenses in 7826. So for purposes of that, I will allow those bonds, the 10,000, 10,000, 150, 150, and 100. As it relates to the out on bond case, Mr. Reese, do you have any arguments? Sure. I don't go off the record. I'm not touching anything here because if I
Okay.
touch anything,
Okay.
and I might disconnect somebody. I can. Something you want to write down? Okay.
Thanks for your accommodation today.
It's crazy today. Okay.
I didn't even know where I was going, and that's, COVID has caused additional concerns in my life to go away.
All right, Mr. Tubbs, based on the state's and the defense's discussions and what they've advised me of, I am going to not take any action on the out on release case. So you need to keep in touch with Mr. Reese. Make sure that you don't violate any conditions of your release. You're not to possess or consume any drugs or any alcohol without a valid prescription. You're not to have any contact with any witnesses or co-defendants in the case. And were there any other conditions? No weapon. I'm going to add no weapons or firearms or any ammunition as well. And you're not to return back to that residence. I don't believe that it is your residence, so there's no reason for you to go back there. Do you understand all of those conditions, Mr. Tubbs?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
All right. Keep in touch with Mr. Reese, okay?
You know, when I
Yes,
looked
ma'am.
online this morning, it looked as though there was two different cases. We covered both, right?
Yeah, one
Two
is just a
different new
possession
cases.
of cocaine. I believe that was cocaine found in a vehicle after a search warrant, and then the other is the house.
Thank you.
Okay, two separate.
All
He has a
right.
bond of 1,000, and then the other bonds that you all stipulated to.
All right,
Okay?
thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am. He's at the
Okay,
podium.
oh, now I can see some people. All right. Please tell me your name, sir.
Gustavo Franco Santos.
Gustavo Franco Santos.
All right, Mr. Franco Santos, you're here in 2020 CF 7833AO. You're arrested for battery by strangulation, domestic violence, tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, and battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Madam Interpreter, we do have a witness here. Ma'am, do you need the interpreter? Okay, she does need your services, so you'll have to interpret out loud. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ma'am, can you please raise your right hand to be sworn in, please?
Señora, levante su mano derecha para prestar juramento, por favor.
All right. And you may understand some English, but you're going to have to wait until she interprets before you can answer. So can you tell
Usted
me your
puede ser que
name?
entienda algo de inglés, pero va a tener que esperar a que ella interprete antes de contestar. ¿Me puede decir su nombre completo, por favor?
Caris Reyes.
Can you spell your last name?
Reyes.
Can you spell your
¿Puede
last
deletrear?
name for me?
Deletree su apellido, por favor.
R-E-Y-E-S.
Reyes.
Miss Reyes, how do you know Mr. Franco Santos?
Santos, señora Reyes, ¿cómo conoce al señor Franco Santos?
Somos pareja.
We're a couple.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
We are a couple.
Okay. How long have you been a couple?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevan de pareja?
1 año y medio.
A year and a half.
And are you afraid of him?
¿Usted le tiene miedo a él?
No.
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
¿Usted quiere tener contacto con él?
Sí.
Yes.
Has there been violence in your relationship in the past?
¿Ha habido violencia en su relación con él anteriormente?
No.
No.
Were you the victim of a domestic violence battery case with him as the defendant?
¿Fue usted la víctima de un caso de violencia doméstica siendo él el acusado?
Sí, en este.
Yes.
And that was this year as well?
¿Y eso fue este año también?
Sí.
Yes.
And do you think drugs or alcohol had any involvement in what happened?
¿Usted piensa que drogas o alcohol tuvo algo que ver en lo ocurrido?
No.
No.
Okay. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, do you have any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
Se le pregunta a la señora Kennedy Swanson si tiene alguna otra pregunta. Me ha
Ms.
dicho que no.
Okay. Ms. Manikia, do you have any questions?
I do not, Your Honor.
La señora Maniquía, ¿tiene alguna pregunta? No, su señoría.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony and for waiting today. I know we had some technical issues, so I appreciate you waiting.
Gracias por su testimonio, señora, y por haber esperado en el día de hoy. Sé que tuvimos unos problemas técnicos por los cuales tuvo que esperar. Gracias.
Based on the facts as alleged in this case and the most recent other case, I am going to order that there's no contact. And Madam Interpreter, if you could just relay that as well. I don't know, maybe just do everything over the loudspeaker because she needs to understand as well.
Señora, la juez va a decidir en el día de hoy que por el momento el señor no puede tener ningún contacto con usted.
And that's no contact directly or indirectly.
Eso es contacto directo o indirecto.
You're to maintain a separate residence from the victim.
Tiene que mantenerse viviendo separado de la víctima.
If you need to return back to the residence, you must go with law enforcement. You can go one time.
Si necesita regresar a recoger sus artículos personales, se le permite regresar solamente una ocasión acompañado de la policía.
No weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
No puede poseer ningún tipo de armas, armas de fuego ni municiones.
And you do qualify for pretrial release, Mr. Franco Santos, so I am going to release you to that program. You must comply with the court's orders as well as their conditions.
El señor Franco Santos va a poder participar en el programa de libertad preventiva y tiene que cumplir con las órdenes y reglas del tribunal.
Did you understand everything on the no contact order, sir?
Sí.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony, ma'am.
Señora, gracias por su testimonio.
All right. Please tell me your name.
Samuel Vega Cabrera. Vega Cabrera.
Samuel Vega Cabrera.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 CF 7720AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement, false imprisonment, and battery domestic violence. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. Is there any, we don't have any witnesses present in the courtroom here. So I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Sí, entiendo.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. You're also to maintain a separate residence. If you need to return back to the residence, you can go one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings that you may need. No weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. Did he not qualify?
He didn't qualify due to a community tie.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna court order Mr. Vega Cabrera into pretrial release. He has no history whatsoever, and I see that he's answered questions that I have on the form. Mr. Vega Cabrera, you're gonna be placed in pretrial release. You need to make sure you comply with my orders as well as pretrial releases. And keep in touch with the public defender. Do not miss any court dates, okay?
Bien, no hay problema.
That's very well, no problem.
All right. Huh? Okay, and is he still there?
Yes, Your Honor, go ahead.
Okay, I'm ordering, the warrant says no contact with any witnesses either, so I'm maintaining no contact with the victim or all witnesses, okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. At least I can see. Oh, for a second. All right. Is the headset on? I can't see it.
Yes.
Okay, it keeps, the screen keeps flopping back and forth here, so. All right, please tell me your name.
Mateo Garcia. Garcia.
Mateo Garcia.
Okay, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 4665 AO. You're arrested for disorderly intoxication and resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause for those offenses, and I'll appoint the public defender. Do I had an updated face sheet here. Okay. Mr. Mateo, do you live locally?
Sí.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm
Is your address the 5885 Dahlia Drive?
So
Yes, I
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so, Mr. Mateo, you have no criminal history. I would hate to ruin that for you today by resolving the case. Although, if you wanted to resolve it, I think the state would probably have an offer for you. But I think that you may qualify for some other programs at the state attorney's office that may benefit you. So I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to resolve your case today. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. So make sure that if you move, that you update your address with the clerk's office or the public defender, and they know how to get in touch with you, okay?
Okay, sí, está bien.
Okay, do not miss court, all right?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Esa me van a decir a dónde. En los otros papeles
sorry?
dicen.
Will they be telling me where on the papers?
When you get out, you will get a court date.
Ajá. Okay, sí, está bien. Entonces ya.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Entonces van a salir aquí ahora, sí, así, solo que tengo que venir de nuevo entonces.
So I'm going to be able to get out now?
Yes,
I'm just going to have to come back?
Yeah, you have to go back to court when they're going to give you that information when you get released. Make sure you call the public defender's office. They're going to give you a piece of paper there and with a phone number on it. You need to call them and find out who your attorney is, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye.
right, and we don't have, do we have any other, that's the last Spanish?
It's the last Spanish, Your Honor, but we've just been informed that we need a Creole interpreter.
Okay, do we know what case that's for?
It's for Steve Laguerre. It's a misdemeanor pliable.
Okay. And he's coming to court?
He's already here. He just
Okay.
informed us that he need an interpreter.
Okay, I think I've seen him many a time, so, okay.
Okay.
All right,
Your
thank you,
Honor,
Madam
the
Interpreter.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Sorry for the inconvenience this morning.
No, we're troubleshooting and working through a lot of stuff down here, so I appreciate
understand.
the help.
You're welcome. You have a good weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks.
Are we starting with the misdemeanor pliables next?
We're gonna do the Creole.
Okay. We have the Creole at the podium whenever you're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, the clerk is getting them on the phone.
Don't take that off.
Keep your mask on.
Give me that.
Did you swear on it or no? Okay. Good afternoon, this is Judge Wish. Is this the Haitian Creole interpreter?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, this is Judge who? I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Judge Wish.
Wish, thank you. Yes, this is the Haitian Creole interpreter. My name is Samuel. My ID is 219962, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And have you been sworn in today?
Not yet.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to testify or translate from English to Haitian Creole and Haitian Creole to English to the best of your ability?
Yes.
Okay. And I have a gentleman before me who needs your services. Can you just introduce yourself and ask him to acknowledge that he understands you?
Yes. Bonsoir, monsieur. Vous comprenez?
M'tendons comprendre, mais si m'besoin ta pouvoir bien parler à dame ça là pour essayer de me là m'ka sortir. Yeah, oui, m'comprendre.
Yes, I can understand you. Please, I want you to speak in a way to this lady so that she understands, because I need to get out of here by tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, I understand you.
Okay, sir. You're here in case number 2020 MM4659.
Ou la jodi a dossier ou la c'est pour 2020 MM4659.
You were arrested for trespassing.
Yo t'es arrêté ou parce que ou t'es parti au côté que ou pas dû passer, t'es pas passé.
I find probable cause and I'll appoint the public defender.
Moi je viens des causes probables avec défenseur public là.
And Ms. Manikia, I don't think we're going to resolve the case today. There's competency issues and there's a status hearing set.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Manicure, pas croire que nous parlons résoudre dossier ça jeudi, parce qu'il y a des problèmes de confiance avec sa situation ça.
So, sir, you're not to return back to 819 South Park Avenue?
Oui.
Monsieur, vous pas doit retourner dans 819 South Park Avenue.
Yeah, m'ba retourner.
No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case.
Ou pas contacter aucun monde. Un moment. On va devoir contacter aucun monde qui est victime ou bien témoin dans le dossier.
You must abide by the trespass warning.
Ou ta doué couper ou avertissement ça que ba là pour pas pénétrer sans ou pas autoriser pour aller retourner côté ça.
All right, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance.
M'a relâché ou parce que ou les relâché ou reconnaître le l'heure pour retourner ou bien pour retourner pour pas retourner.
Make sure you call the public defender within 24 hours of your release from the jail.
Ou ta doit faire ce que ou les défenseurs publics là pas quitter 24 heures de temps passé une fois que yo relâché ou yo la go en prison.
And I'll take no action on the out on release case.
Pas prendre aucune action pour dossier ça pour les laguer.
I'll take no action on any of them.
Pas prendre aucune action dans aucun nayo.
All right, thank you.
D'accord, merci. Is there anything else you would like me to assist with today, Your Honor?
No, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your help.
You're welcome, and thank you for using our services today.
All right, have a good day.
You do the same, and thank you.
All right, and so now we can start with whatever y'all want to start with, the misdemeanor pleables.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The first person on the docket, Teron Burtz, medical.
Okay, so I will appoint the public defender for Mr. Burks. It's 2020 MM 161 AE. Miss Manikia, did you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor, we'll waive it here.
Okay, so it's false ID to law enforcement and loitering or prowling. I do find probable cause, and I did appoint the PD, no contact with any victims or witnesses, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. I am going to stay the bond at 500 and 100. All right, tell me your name, please.
Troy Delva.
Okay, Mr. Delva, you're here in 2020 MM 555 AW. You were arrested for criminal mischief. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. I don't know if the state will have an offer today because, okay, it's a victim case, so there's no offer today. I'm going to order that you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with the victim in the case, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition.
Your Honor, would you consider releasing him to pretrial release?
He was not interviewed for pretrial release, and I have no information on the face sheet about him. Was he interviewed or?
Not interviewed.
Okay. Are they doing interviews if I order that? Or?
If they're allowed to come down, they'll interview them.
Okay, so if he's allowed to come down, what I'll do is I'll stay the bond or pretrial release if he qualifies. So they'll have to be able to make sure that he can go down to be interviewed, Miss Manikia, okay? All right, so Mr. Delva, did you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Derrick Gardner.
All right, Mr. Gardner, you're here in 2020 MM 4666 AO. You're arrested for trespass in a dwelling after warning, and I do find probable cause. I don't know if the state will have an offer.
No objection to PTR.
Okay, but no offer.
No offer.
Okay, all right, so I'll appoint the public defender. You cannot return back to the 2827 West Livingston Avenue or have any contact with any victim in the case and abide by any trespass warning, and I'll release you to pretrial release.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you, sir. All right, please tell me your name.
William Huff.
All right, Mr. Huff, you're here in 2020 MM 4664 AO. You're arrested for criminal mischief, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. I don't think there's an offer. Nope, okay. So I'm gonna order that you have no contact with any victim or witness in the case. I believe that you may live at the same residence, so I'm gonna order that you maintain a separate residence. So I'm not kicking you out of your home, but you can't live there if the victim is there
Okay.
or any witnesses.
Yes.
So you can, if you need to go back there because the victim's there to get any personal belongings, you'd have to be with law enforcement, okay?
Okay.
No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You do have reporting requirements as well. Make sure you comply with any of those reporting requirements. I'm going to release you to pretrial release, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, tell me your name, please.
Ryan Demetrius Jarrett, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Jarrett, you're here in 2020 MM 4667 AO, and that is a trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance. And I do find probable cause. Miss Kennedy Swanson, did you have an offer?
Yes, adjudication guilt, credit for time served, no return.
Okay, so the offer from the state is adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, no return, and, abide by that trespass warning. That would get you out today. Do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I did not appoint the public defender for purposes of the record and the court minutes. All right, Mr. Jarrett, did you read the plea form before you came into court?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand all those rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you find a factual basis to accept the plea based on the affidavit? I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days, time served, order you pay your court costs by June 26, 2021. You can't go back to that location, abide by the trespass warning. And if you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm not revoking your release or taking any action on the other case. Make sure you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Keep in touch with your attorney, yes?
Your Honor, yes, ma'am. I'm also on bond, so this didn't interfere with my bond, did it?
I haven't done anything with your other case.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not taking action on it. I can tell you if you get arrested again, I might, or some other judge might, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Just be aware of that, okay? All right, tell me your name.
Tracy Yolanda Coger.
All right, Ms. Coger, you're here in 2020 MM 553AW. You were arrested for battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. So I don't believe that there's an offer today due to the battery. I don't know if the state.
No, you're not.
Okay, I didn't think. I just want to make sure it's known for the record purposes. There's no offer today. And so you're not to have any contact with the victim. You're not to return back to 2 locations. So you cannot go back to the Liquor Master number 5 at 3000 Old Winter Garden Road, nor may you go back to the residence on the North Cottage Hill Road, the apartment number 2. So you're not to go back there either. So no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. And I'm gonna stay the bond at the $500. I'm not taking any action on your out on release case, but make sure that you keep in touch with, or do you have does she have an attorney on that? Okay, I'm gonna appoint the PD for you on that case for you if you want.
Ma'am, I was
You
thinking
want-
about using Leslie Sweets. I was gonna have her
Okay,
appoint me. with
I
me.
won't appoint I won't appoint the PD. You can hire your own attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
But I did appoint the PD in this case. If you want to hire Miss Sweet, you can hire her and she will do a motion to substitute in, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so don't have any contact, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I will stay the bond at the 500.
Thank you so much.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Timothy Lafferty, medical.
Okay, and it's medical, he's not coming for a while?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to appoint the public defender for Mr. Lafferty, 2020 MM 4658AO. Ms. Manikey, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, he's charged with trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause. No return to the scene. Abide by the trespass. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. The bond will stay at 500. I'm not taking any action on the other cases.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can you tell me your name?
Johnny Ray McCauley, first, middle,
All
last
right,
name.
Mr. McCauley, you're here in 2020 MM 4669AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. Was there an offer?
What's the last name?
McCauley?
Adjudication guilt, credit for time served.
All right, so Mr. McCauley, the state's offers adjudication of guilt, credit for time served. You know, you can't go back to where you were trespassed. Do you
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
accept that offer? That should get you out today.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, y'all. God bless.
Did you read the plea form before you came into court? And I'm not appointing the public defender for this one either.
Yes, ma'am. I read that.
Okay. Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand all those rights that you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I find a factual basis to accept your plea based on the affidavit in the court file. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't go back to the 1501 North Alafaya Trail, the St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Abide by that trespass. And I'll order you pay your court costs by June 26, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you.
God bless y'all.
All right, please tell me your name.
Tiaka Rhymes.
All right, Ms. Rhymes, you're here in 2020 MM 554AW, and you were arrested for battery, and I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. There's probably no offer today. Same, it was a co-defendant before that we saw, so no offer in the case today. So you're not to have any contact with any victim or witness as in the affidavit. So that means directly or indirectly, no contact. I know she was arrested too, but so you can't have contact with each other. I ordered her to have no contact with you as well, okay?
Okay.
You're not to return back to the liquor store at the Liquor Master number 5 at 3000 Old Winter Garden Road. And no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And you do qualify for pretrial release. I'm gonna place you in pretrial release, okay? Make sure you comply with those orders.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
I can get out.
Your Honor, Luis Rodriguez, mental health.
Mental health, okay, there's not gonna be an offer on a battery, so, it's 2020 MM 4668 AO, and I'll appoint the public defender for Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Manikia, do you wanna waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so, I've got a battery and there's probable cause. So no contact with the victim in the case, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no return back to the Lake Eola Park at 512 East Washington Street. And I'm gonna stay the bond at the $500. All right, please tell me your name.
Daniel Rodriguez Baldonado.
Okay, sir, you're here in 2020 MM 4663 AO. It's trespass on property after warning, and I do find probable cause. Is there an offer?
Adjudication credit for time served, no return.
Okay, so it's a no return back, and then it's credit for time served with an adjudication of guilt. Do you want to do that today, Mr. Rodriguez Maldonado?
I will leave in today.
Yeah, you would. I'm not going to take any action on your out on release case. So if you want to
Okay.
resolve it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes. Yes,
Did
ma'am.
you read? Okay. Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Understand all those rights that you're giving up?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I find a factual basis to accept your plea, and I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days' time served. You cannot go back to 1610 South Orange Blossom Trail, the Palms Trailer Park. Abide by the trespass, and order you pay your court costs by June 26, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentenced to the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I did not appoint the PD in that case for you so that you don't have to pay that extra cost. Make sure you keep in touch with your attorney on the other case, okay? Don't miss any court dates.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Julio Alexis Alejandro.
All right, Mr. Alejandro, you're here in 2020 CF 7822AO. It's a driving while license suspended as a habitual traffic offender, and I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. You may not drive without a valid driver's license. I am going to stay the bond at the $2,500. But I'm not going to take any action on your out on release case. He has a hold for Seminole.
This is for a child support rate for
Oh.
$750.
I'm sorry?
It's a child support rate for $750.
Okay, so it looks like you have a 750, is that the purge amount?
Yes.
For the Seminole County writ, okay? So
Okay.
you'll have to pay that, I think, to get out as well.
So I
Okay?
have to pay the rent and the bond to get out?
I believe so. I'm taking no action on that. All right, tell me your name, please.
Julio Alexis Alejandro.
Didn't I just see him?
Cologne is the next one up, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I know, I was like.
No, you said, I was like, wait, I just did them.
Hold it.
John Cologne?
Yes,
Okay, thank you, sir.
no problem.
All right, you're here in 2020 CF 7830AO. You're arrested for trafficking in methamphetamines over 28 grams, possession of cannabis over 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. We've also got 2020 CF 7828AO, and that's driving while license revoked as a habitual traffic offender, and I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the PD as well. For the 7828 case, no driving without a valid driver's license. And does the state have any objection to pretrial release? No. Okay. All right, sir. So I'm going to place you on pretrial release for both cases.
Okay.
For the so in the other one, you can't drive without a valid driver's license.
I
In
won't.
the trafficking case, you're not to have any contact with any witness or any co-defendant as named in the affidavit. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I am going to require random urinalysis, so if they make you come in and do a drug test, then if you test dirty, that's a violation. If you get arrested for anything, that's a violation. Make sure that you keep that in mind, okay?
Yes, 100%.
Pre-trial on both, yeah.
Thank you.
The random, random on the drug case. It's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, tell me your name, please.
Joseph Fillion.
All right, Mr. Fillion, you're here in 2020 CF 7823AO. You're arrested for criminal mischief over 1,000. And I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No contact with any victim. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No return back to the scene of where the offense is alleged to have occurred, and no weapons, no firearms, and no ammunition. The bond will stay at 1,000.
I can't get ROR on this, man.
I'm not RORing you, sir. All right, thank you. It's the tiniest little screen there. I wish I could just make it stay. Can you tell me your name? Is anyone there?
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Andrew Jaya, medical.
Okay, and that's medical as in not coming ever?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I think it's like, there's some that are medical and then some that are quarantined or for like 2 weeks or in lockdown. So we're just wondering which one it is.
We are too, Your Honor.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So, do the parties want me to reset this or no?
He's asking you to remain count 1 and 2 at no bond, so I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikia, Mr. Jaya is not coming, and I don't think he'll be here for a while. So, we're going to address it. Do you want to waive?
Yes, I'll waive the appearance, and we're going to for the matter to report on the.
Okay. All right. I did read the affidavit. Is the state asking me to consider all the facts and evidence in the affidavit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I read the 13-page affidavit. It's a very detailed affidavit. Based on what I've read, I do find proof evident presumption great for count 1 and 2. And so I am going to hold Mr. Jaya at no bond on both those counts. Counts 3 through, I believe, 36. Is that it? 3 through 36. Yeah, I'm just, there's 38 counts. So 3 through 36, or 37, sorry, you are correct. It will be set at 2,500 on each count. And count 38 will stay at the 1,000. So the conditions of any release, if he is to be released at any point, and that could change, is no contact, well, also from the jail, so no contact with any victim, or the victim's family or any witness in the case. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No return to the victim's residence. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. No contact with any minor child under the age of 18. And if he has a passport, he'll have to surrender that to the clerk's office within 12 hours of any release. If no passport, file an affidavit under oath indicating that you do not own a passport. Is there anything further? Anything else? Okay. All right. And does he have a hold or anything?
No, Your Honor.
No? Okay. It's on probation, so there may end up being a violation of probation. All right, tell me your name.
The next person on the docket, Brandon
Sorry,
John
Ms.
Fay-
Taylor. It keeps switching, and I have you in a little box, so I don't know who it is standing there.
No problem, Your Honor. The next person on the docket is Brandon John Baptiste, bonded.
Okay, we'll take no action. All right. Anybody there?
Yes, Your Honor. The next person, Chris John Berridge, behavior.
Okay, so if Mr. Barrage can't behave, John Barrage, I'm gonna find that to be a waiver, 2020 CF 7812AO. Ms. Manicki, do you wanna formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's charged with possession of methamphetamine and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. And I do find probable cause. I'm gonna stay the bond on count 1 at 1,000, count 2 all ROR.
He also has reporting requirements.
Okay. And he has reporting requirements. So he'll need to comply with any reporting requirements. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Can't remember if I said that or not. Please tell me your name.
Kelly.
Okay, Miss Kelly, you're here in 2020 CF 6143AO. You're arrested for failing to appear for an arraignment on June 23rd, 2020. And Judge Barber did set your bond at none, but I did email with her, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And so she said that if I can get a good address for you, so that you show up to court when you're supposed to, whether that be via video link or some other manner,
Yes.
she would allow me to release you.
Yes, ma'am. I have the address that I
Okay, I'm gonna need, it's very difficult for us to hear specific little things, so is there a
Okay.
way for somebody to write that down over there?
You have some way like you can write the right address? Because they have the right address in the system. It's a 1112 Jamela, but they sent my letter to a 20-something Bridge Avenue. But I don't live there, and my mom lives at the 11 or 13-something Creek.
Okay, so where are you getting your mail?
1112 Jamela Drive.
You want her to write it down, Your Honor, and we bring it over there to the...
Yeah, it's on the capias, so, I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Huh?
I called the court this morning, and she told me she doesn't know why it was sent to the Bridge Avenue. They have both of my addresses in file.
Okay, I don't know, I don't know why anything was sent. I just know that there's returned mail in here. Let's see what that one says. Yeah, that was the Bridge Avenue.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. I don't know
Miss-
anyone that lives there.
Okay, Miss Manikia, do you, on the capias, if you can pull that up, that's her correct address in case you didn't have it.
Your Honor, I actually don't have access to Odyssey Plus.
Okay, so it's 1112 Jamela, Jamela, Drive, Ocoee, Florida, 34761. And does she have the PD? Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender for you,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
So you need to keep in touch with the public defender.
Are they
And-
gonna give me a number for that? To be able to talk to them?
They should have a piece of paper over there and they can give you that number.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. We got it, thank you. So I'm gonna release her ROR. Please make sure you know any court dates and that you don't miss any court dates, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, the next person is Kennedy Medical.
Okay, and that is medical not coming.
Right, Your Honor, not coming.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 7801AO. Miss Manikia, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and so I'll appoint the PD and they're waiving. This is neglect of a child. This is kind of a domestic case. It's just a mom. So I am ordering, I think DCF is involved, so I'm not sure what's going on with it, but I am going to order no contact directly or indirectly with the victims. Looks like there's 2 victims, although they charged 1 count, so it's any victim as alleged in the affidavit. And she would not qualify for pretrial release because of the charge.
She would not qualify, Your Honor.
Okay, so she'll have to comply with any DCF investigation. I don't have much information about her in order to determine an ROR. She has a failure to appear out of state. So I'm gonna stay the bond at the 1,000.
Okay.
All right, tell me your name, sir.
My name is Christopher Lawson.
All right, Mr. Lawson, you're here in 2020 CF 5605. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to register upon release as a sexual offender. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You have reporting requirements. You need to comply with those. You're out on release for the same offense. I'm not going to revoke that release. I'm going to set the bond here at 2,500. But if you continue to not register, you're going to have another case, and then the judge may revoke your release. Okay?
I was thinking I had to get my ID before I registered.
You're gonna have to contact the public defender. They can give you legal advice. I cannot give you legal advice.
That's it.
All right, thank you.
You can release them all with cognizance. I'll register this time.
All right, please tell me your name.
Daniel Lowe.
All right, Mr. Lowe, you're here in 2020 CF 7825AO. You're arrested for trafficking in cocaine over 200, under 400 grams. Trafficking in fentanyl, 4 grams or more, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
No, I had none of that.
Sir, I would advise you that everything that you're saying is being recorded, and
Okay,
everything that you say will be used against you.
Hey, that's fine.
Please, we're not gonna argue about the case today. That's not what today is about. I found probable cause based on the affidavit. If you have a defense, you can contact the public defender's office and ask them to file any motions for you or speak to the state attorney's office about those defenses. So as it relates to this case, I find probable cause for all of the offenses. And I'll appoint the public defender in 2020 CF 7824AO, it's sale and delivery of cocaine, and I do find probable cause for that offense. And I'll appoint the public defender as well. So, no contact with any victim, or excuse me, any witnesses or any co-defendants. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And I am going to stay the bond at the 100,000 on count 1. Count 2, I'll reduce to 5,000. Count 3, 150. Count 4, 100. In the other case, the bond will stay at 15,000.
And he did qualify for PTR, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna place him in pretrial release. Thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Charles McGee.
Mr. McGee, you're here in 2020 CF 7800AO. You're arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And how long have you lived in Orlando?
I was born.
Sorry?
I was born and raised here.
Okay, are you working?
Not at the moment. It's side jobs.
Okay, yeah. Miss Taylor, can you make sure that they're talking into the microphone? Because I can't really hear anything that they're saying. And as soon as they get close to the microphone, I can hear.
They are, but they got the mask on, so some of them.
I understand, but he moved his head closer and I could hear him, and then he moved it back and I couldn't.
But
so.
I do air conditioning. I do side jobs at the moment. I'm not
Okay,
work
Mr.
for a
McGee,
company right now.
okay, Mr. McGee, if I release you ROR, you've got to show up to court. If you don't, you're going to get a no bond warrant. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and I'll ROR you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, please tell me your name.
Step on up.
How did he get released, Your Honor?
Oh. Close to the line. Okay, say your name.
My name's William Miranda.
All right, Mr. Miranda, you're here in 2020 CF 7818AO. It's possession of ammunition by a convicted felon and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 5,000 and I'll ROR on count 2.
I'm sorry, ma'am. What am I being charged
said-
with?
Possession of ammunition by a convicted felon and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams.
Ma'am, I don't have ammunition.
I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case.
Okay.
Okay? Anything that you say is being recorded and will be used against you. Do you understand?
Okay.
If you have a defense, then you can contact the public defender. I've appointed them, and they can help you out with any defenses that you may have. So it's a $5,000 bond on count 1 and ROR on count 2. Huh? Oh, I only have one case. Oh, I do have 2 cases. All right, then you've got 2020 CF 7819. It's possession of cocaine and possession of fentanyl. I didn't read this, so let me read it real quick. All right, I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and the bond will stay at 1,000 and 150.
Well, can I ask?
All right.
I do. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm sorry. I have a couple of questions.
Okay, I don't want you to talk about the facts of anything.
No, I won't mention any facts. Can I get a report or something stating all of that? Because when I got arrested, I was. This is all new to me.
You can get a report from the public defender.
Your Honor, if he reaches out to us, I'll have that.
Miss Manikia, you're like underwater.
So,
Can you hear me better this way?
am I leaving today?
Not really.
Is she talking to me? Hello?
No, I was.
Your attorney's trying to talk to me, sir. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Can you hear me, Judge Wish?
I mean, barely.
I was trying to say that I will, if he reaches out to us, I can make a note for us to send him the
No, I don't know what you're trying to say. Are you saying that you're going to have somebody contact him? I don't.
Or if he can contact the public defender's office and someone will give him that report.
Okay. She's telling me to have you contact the public defender and somebody will get you reports.
Okay. This means I'm not getting released at all today, correct?
If you have to post a bond.
And how
So
much?
I would contact a bondsman.
How much was the bond in total?
I don't know. We've already addressed the case, so we'll have to get the paperwork back. Hold on.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
So it's a $5,000 bond on the ammunition by convicted felon. I released you on your own recognizance on count 2, $1,000 bond on the cocaine, and $150 on the fentanyl. So that's $6,150.
Okay. Another question. Is a paintball gun considered artillery?
I can't give you any legal advice, sir.
She can't, no, she just telling you.
I'm sorry. I'm good. I'm okay.
Your Honor, the next person scheduled on the docket, Michael Parker, medical.
All right, and so Mr. Parker's medical, I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikey, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. 2020 CF 7239AO. He was arrested pursuant to a warrant for uttering forged bills or notes, grand theft third degree, and petty theft. And no return back to, I don't know what that beeping is. No return back to the victim's residence. No return back to the Addition Financial Bank, any of the banks. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And the bonds will stay at $1,500 and $250.
The next person on the docket, Harold Rasbin, medical.
All right, 2020 CF 7787AO, and I'll appoint the PD. And Ms. Manikey, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so he's charged by warrant. Probable cause was previously found for burglary of a structure during the state of an emergency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counts of burglary of a conveyance, and then petty theft. And no contact with victims and all witnesses, no return to the scene. The bond on count 1 is $15,000. Count 2, I'll reduce to $150. I don't know why the other offenses. So I'm gonna change the bonds on the felonies from count 3 through 8 to $150, and count 9 will be $100. All right, please tell me your name.
The next person on the docket, Derrick Rose, behavior.
All right. So Mr. Rhodes can't behave himself. I'm gonna find that to be a waiver, and I'll appoint the public defender, 2020 CF 6180AO. And Ms. Manikia, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's charged by warrant with retail theft. And no return back to the scene. No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants. So that scene is Walmart, 3101 West Princeton Street. And the bond will stay at 1,000.
The next person on the docket, Moses Soto Sainz, behavior.
All right, so if you can't behave, I'm gonna find that to be a waiver. I'll appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikia, do you want to formally waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
2020 CF 7832AO, it's possession of alprazolam, possession of oxycodone, there's probable cause, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000 on count 1 and 150 on count 2. All right, tell me your name.
Travis Starr.
All right, Mr. Starr, you're here in 2020 CF 7803. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm and battery, and I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender. So you are not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. If you have any weapons or firearms or ammunition, you must surrender that to law enforcement within 6 hours of release from the jail. No contact with any victims or witnesses. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm going to place you in pretrial release with random urinalysis. So if you need to come, if they make you come in and get tested, make sure you're not dirty, all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, please tell me your name.
Linnell Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here in 2020 CF 5246AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant for leaving the scene of a crash with property damage and then driving with a suspended driver's license. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. No contact with any victims or witnesses. And you cannot drive without a valid driver's license. Do you live locally?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Grand Street, Orlando, Florida.
Okay, and do you work?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where do you work?
I do landscaping.
Okay. All right, Mr. Thomas, I'm gonna release you ROR.
Okay.
So that means that you're promising to come to court if you need to go to court. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
If you miss court, you're probably gonna get a warrant and it's probably gonna be no bond, all
Okay.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, tell me your name.
Kayvon Turner.
All right, Mr. Turner, you're here in 2020 CF 7807. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for sexual battery on a child under 12. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you wish to be heard as to bond? It's a capital offense.
Your Honor, looking at the four corners of the affidavit, we believe the defendant should continue to be held at no bond based on proof, evident, presumption. Great. There is testimony from the victim. They did do a medical examination waiting for the results. They were sent to FDLE. And based on the detective also saying the victim knew the truth and a lie, we believe that the defendant should be held at no bond, no contact with the victim, even if he is to get out or while he is currently in custody.
All right, Ms. Manikia?
Your Honor, we defer the matter to the court's discretion.
Okay, so I have reviewed the affidavit based on the injuries sustained by the victim as well as the other contents of the affidavit. I do find proof evident presumption great. I am going to hold Mr. Turner at this time at no bond. His attorneys can file an appropriate Arthur hearing motion downtown, which can be heard while you're at the jail, and if you get released, if you get a bond. Anytime this case is pending, you're not to have any contact with the victim, any witness, or anyone in the victim's family. Mr. Turner, do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. You may not return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. No contact with any minor child under the age of 18. Do you own a passport?
No, ma'am.
Okay. If you don't own a passport, you'll have to file an affidavit under oath indicating that you do not own a passport. That's subject to perjury. Make sure you get that filed with the clerk if you get released from the jail within 12 hours. Just get in touch with the public defender. They're going to give you a piece of paper. Call that number, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I usually just say surrender it, and if not, like file an affidavit that they don't have it or don't own one. All right, tell me your name. Or is it, oh, I don't see anyone there. It's such a tiny
Next
box.
on the list is Walls Kevin, medical. Did you hear?
Sorry.
Walls. Medical.
Okay. This whole system is not working for me. All right, Ms. Wall is medical and 2020 CF 7813AO. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Ms. Manikia, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's grand theft, illegal use of credit cards to obtain goods, and possessing a personal identification of another. And I do find probable cause for those offenses. No contact with any victim or witness. No return to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. And the bond will stay at $2,500, $150, and $150. I'm sorry. All right, tell me your name.
Pete Williams.
And Mr. Williams, you're here in 2019 CF 5104AO. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for home invasion robbery with a firearm and a mask, aggravated battery with a firearm wearing a mask, and grand theft third degree. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you, I believe count 1 is a PBL, count 2 not a PBL. I'm not sure if it is. I don't think it is. I mean, it might be with the enhancement, but
No,
I don't
it's
know.
not.
Okay, yeah. It's an F2?
I had to add that with the firearm. Is it F1?
1, okay, but punishable by 30. Okay.
Okay. Your Honor, we would ask the defendant be held at no bond. Looking at the four corners of the affidavit, that's count 1. There was a swab taken of, I believe the beanie was his co-defendant, inside the residence. It came back to a DNA hit, a CODIS hit of this defendant. The victim stated there was no reason why he didn't know this defendant, or should this defendant's DNA be found anywhere in the home. Based on that, Your Honor, the defendant should be held at no bond. No contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms, and no contact with the co-defendant.
All right, Ms. Panikia.
Your Honor, we leave the matter to the court's discretion.
Okay, Mr. Williams, your attorneys are reserving your right to have a lengthier bond hearing downtown after they file a motion for you. So I do find proof evident presumption great based on my review of the affidavit. I am going to hold you at no bond on count 1. Bond on count 2 will be $10,000. Bond on count 3, $2,500. You're not to return to the victim's residence. No drugs, no alcohol without a valid prescription. No contact with the victim, witnesses, or any co-defendants, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Call the public defender on that, the number on that form as soon as you can, okay? All right, tell me your name. And,
Daryl Charles Willie.
all right, Mr. Willie, you're here in 2020 CF 2979AO. You're arrested for warrant for possession of MDMA and possession of drug paraphernalia. And I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Are you living here locally?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your address?
I'm a transient.
Okay, where do you get your mail?
Oh, I'm sorry. My mother's house,
Okay, what is that address?
1816 Grand Street.
Okay, number 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Willie, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance.
Yes, ma'am.
Within 24 hours, I want you to get in touch with the public defender's office, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't miss court. Keep in touch with them. If you change your mailing address, you need to let the clerk know and then your attorneys know, okay?
Yes, ma'am. So
Okay.
this is the number I call as soon as I get out? Okay. And they'll tell me. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Tell me your name, please.
Michael Wilson.
All right, Mr. Wilson, you're here in 2020 CF 7840AO. You're arrested for sexual battery on a physically incapacitated person, battery, and petty theft. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Count 1 is a light felony. Miss Kenny Swanson, does the state want to be heard as to bond?
Your Honor, we asked that if the court is going to use discretion and set a bond, we would ask for a very high bond, looking at the defendant has a violent history, and look at his convictions and his criminal history, looking at the affidavits. So you're looking at the affidavit and the description of what happened to the victim after she was shoved and forcibly penetrated by this defendant in multiple times, in multiple ways. We believe the defendant should be held at no bond, no contact with the victim, no weapons, no firearms.
All right, Ms. Manikia?
Yeah, we just take it apart.
I mean, we can't hear you. Do you have like a do y'all have like a headset you can use? Because your microphone's not working.
I can try that on Monday, but I said I prefer to not accept it.
Okay, all right. I think I heard that, so. All right, so I do find proof evident, presumption great. I'm gonna hold Mr. Wilson at no bond on count 1. The battery will be $500, petty theft $100. No return to the scene, no contact with any victims or witnesses, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no weapons, no firearms, no ammunition. Mr. Wilson, you need to get in touch with the public defender so they can file an appropriate bond motion for you in Division 22, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell me your name.
LeVar Ferguson.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, you're here on a violation of probation warrant. The judge did set your bond at none, and I'll appoint the public defender. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. The public defender can file any motions to set bond for you, but you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days, okay? All right, somebody there, can you tell me your name? I don't see it.
Cassandra Kimberly.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, Ms. Kimberly, you're here in 2019 CF 5679AO. It's a violation of probation warrant. And the judge did set your bond at none. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender. You're going to see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment. But the PD can file any motions to set bond for you, but you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days, okay?
Okay, thank you.
There's no way we have a clean record. You can't hear anybody. All right, tell me your name.
LaShawna Ferguson.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, you're here on a Seminole County warrant. It's set at no bond, and I am going to appoint the public defender here. I don't believe Seminole County is coming to pick people up just yet, so I'm going to appoint them, and then one of the judges here is going to contact the judge in Seminole County to see if they'll agree to give you a bond. So you'll probably come back on the docket here in a couple days for a status hearing, okay? But if you have questions, you can call the public defender and they can file motions for you as well, all right?
Okay.
Okay. All right, tell me your name.
Jackson.
All right, Mr. Jackson, you're here for a St. Lucie County case. It's a warrant. The bond was set at none. I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you. And they're not transporting people just yet. So one of the judges here is going to contact the judge in St. Lucie County, see if they'll give you a bond. And if so, we'll bring you back to court and let you know either way, okay? So you'll probably be set for a status hearing in a couple days, all right?
With the failure to appear, I don't understand how I have a failure to appear.
I don't know anything about what's going on in St. Lucie County because I'm not a St. Lucie County judge, okay? So one of the judges here will reach out to the judge there and see if they'll give you a bond. But the PD was appointed here, so you can contact them and they can find out any information that you need and file any motions for you, okay?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, the next person on the docket, Carla Weaves, Hospital.
Okay, I'll reset within 24 hours of release from the hospital.
Then the next person on the docket, Anthony Yates, Medical.
Okay. I'll appoint the public defender for Mr. Yates. It's in Escambia County warrant.
Okay. Hi, my name is Marcia Sampson. I'm an attorney at the Public Defender's Office. Today you're here for initial appearance. It's a really limited hearing. The judge is going to call you up one by one. He's going to ask you for your name and date of birth and let you know what you've been charged with. He's also going to make a probable cause determination. If there's any arguments for that, I'll make that on your behalf. I do not need your help doing it. He will also give you a bond if you're entitled to one. If you came in on a domestic violence, by statute, you're held to a bond, but you are entitled to a bond, and the judge will set that for you as well as any conditions for release. If you are here on a violation of probation, you are not entitled to a bond. You might get one, but it's probably not. If you're here on a warrant, probable cause of probation has already been made. If you're here on an out-of-county warrant, the other county should come get you. If they're not transporting, our office will represent you for that limited purpose to be able to work with the other county on getting you a bond or resolution for the case.
All right, good afternoon, folks. You're here this afternoon for your initial appearance. I've reviewed the arrest affidavits in your cases. Sorry? Okay. Unless I indicate otherwise, when your case is called, I do find probable cause to believe that you committed the offense for which you've been taken into custody. Each of you has the right to be represented by a lawyer. I will be appointing the Office of the Public Defender to represent each one of you this afternoon, unless you indicate to me that you have privately retained counsel. We'll start with our interpreter cases.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Carlos Morales, State Certified Spanish Court Interpreter. Interpreter has been sworn in already today.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Morales. We're here for initial appearances, and the defendants will not be wearing the headsets. So we'll first call up Germán Colón Mendez. All right, state your name, sir.
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Germán Colón Méndez.
Germán Colón Méndez.
Okay, Mr. Colón Mendez, you're arrested on a charge of possessing an open container of alcohol in a public place.
Señor Colón Méndez, usted fue arrestado por una acusación de tener un recipiente abierto en un lugar público.
The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you.
No, por tomarme una cerveza en un zafacón me escondía por ahí. Y yo sin beber tabaco. Me arrestaron. Ya yo había ido a la corte y estaba limpio. Y vino este señor y me tiene el abuso ya.
No, because there was a beer can in a trash can hidden. No, that I was already clean. I went to the courthouse, took care of it, but that guy comes back and he keeps on picking on me.
That's all right. Mr. Colón Mendez, we're not going to decide your guilt or innocence here today. If you'll listen to me for one moment, sir.
Señor, escuche.
You will be released on your recognizance in this case.
Se le ha nombrado. Hoy no estamos aquí para determinar si usted es culpable o inocente. Se le ha nombrado un defensor público y se le va a permitir salir bajo palabra.
The court will not take any action on the other case for which you were out on your recognizance.
I'm sorry, for which you were out on.
On his own recognizance already.
Y el juez no va a tomar ninguna acción en el otro caso por el cual ya se le había permitido salir bajo palabra.
Esos casos yo había viciado todo. Lo que falta es que yo fui a la corte allá y me dijeron que eso no era malo, que comprara una cerveza y me la dé en un zafacón escondido para allá, eso no es nada malo. Y él me acusa de que yo estoy en el público bebiendo cerveza. ¿Y dónde se toma la cerveza?
I already went to the court. I already had this hearing. I was told that what I did, that there's nothing bad about that I can go and buy a beer and drink it on my own next to a trash can hidden. But then he comes and starts picking on me, saying that I'm out in public.
Hey, Mr. Colón Mendez, as I said earlier, we're not deciding your guilt or innocence here today.
Señor Colón Méndez, ya le dije, no estamos aquí para decidir si usted es culpable o inocente el día de hoy.
You are going to be released from the jail.
Ya.
Y usted va a poder salir de la cárcel.
What you're saying is very important. What you're trying to say is very important, but you need to say that to your attorney, not to the court at this time.
Y lo que usted está diciendo es importante, pero a quien se lo tiene que decir es a su abogado, no al juez el día de hoy.
Your next court date will be
Next court date, July 21st in courtroom 5B at 9:30 a.m.
La próxima vista que tiene será el 21 de julio en la sala 5B a las 9:30 de la mañana.
Thank you.
Es todo, gracias.
And this is 20, that's a weird, 20 MO, okay, it's a municipal ordinance, 20 MO 8. Sorry? No, I'm releasing those recognizances.
8?
8,
It's 8?
not a lot of municipal
I'm
ordinances
apparently not.
so far this year. All right, Milton Del Valle Ortega. Good afternoon, sir. State your name, please.
¿Cómo es Milton del Valle Ortega?
Mr. Del Valle Ortega, you arrested on charges of possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Señor del Valle Ortega, usted fue arrestado por una acusación de posesión de cocaína con la tentativa de vender o distribuir y posesión de adminículos.
Your bond total is $8,000. It's going to remain at that amount at this time.
La fianza que se le había asignado era de $8,000 y va a seguir igual.
The Office of the Public Defender is appointed to represent you in this case.
Le estoy nombrando a los defensores públicos para que lo representen en esta causa.
Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court, sir.
Y la próxima vista todavía no ha sido programada. Cuando se programe se le dejará saber.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Tengo una pregunta.
I have a question.
Yo no tengo comunicación para llamar para afuera. A mí me quitaron los teléfonos y ahora mismo yo tengo dinero para poder fiarme encima aquí y el resto lo tengo en mi casa y no tengo comunicación para nadie.
I don't have any communication with anyone, or I haven't had any communication with anyone on the outside. My phones were taken. I do have money, some of the money here to post bond, and the rest I have it at home, but I'm not able to communicate with anyone.
An attorney from the Office of the Public Defender will be in touch with you and can assist you in communicating with whomever you need to get in touch with.
Bueno, se le ha nombrado a un abogado de los defensores públicos y ese abogado que está asignado a su caso le podrá ayudar para comunicarse con la persona con quien usted necesite comunicarse.
You know when the public attorney might get in touch with them?
Are you in the intake pod?
Are you in the intake pod? Do you know?
Okay, I'll call you this afternoon. Oh, I don't speak Spanish. I will have a Spanish attorney call you this afternoon.
Esta tarde un abogado que habla español le va a llamar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Gracias.
Anyone else in this room require the services of the Spanish language interpreter? If so, please come forward.
Your Honor, may the interpreter have the case number for the case that just passed,
Yes,
please?
that was case 20 CF 1800.
Thank you.
We have another gentleman coming up. All right, sir, good afternoon. Please tell us your name.
Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo se llama usted?
Mi nombre es Daniel Josué Montiel Castillo.
Daniel Josué Montil Castillo.
Mr. Montiel Castillo, you were arrested on 2 cases. You were charged with felony battery and 2 counts of criminal mischief. Your bond in that case set at $1,000 on the battery, $250 on each of the criminal mischief charges. You're also arrested for failure to appear. a,
Señor Montil Castillo tiene dos casos. Una de las acusaciones es agresión como delito mayor y tiene dos acusaciones de daños a propiedad ajena. La fianza por el cargo de agresión es de $1,000 y la fianza por los cargos de daños a propiedad ajena es de $250 cada uno. Además, usted tiene también una incomparecencia.
you're also arrested for failure to appear for pretrial on a charge of felony criminal mischief. And your bond in that case is set at $0.
Y en la acusación que fue por la incomparecencia, usted fue arrestado por esa incomparecencia porque no se presentó a una vista preparatoria donde la acusación era daño a propiedad ajena como delito mayor y en ese caso no se hace.
Your next court date on the new charges will be on demand in circuit court.
La próxima vista para los nuevos cargos todavía no se ha determinado cuándo será.
Your next court date on the felony criminal mischief charge will be
Next court date, August 26th in courtroom 4F at 9 a.m.
La próxima vista que tendrá para la acusación de daños a propiedad ajena como delito mayor será el 26 de agosto en la sala 4F a las 9 de la mañana.
the public defender's office is appointed to represent you in both cases, and a lawyer from that office will be in touch with you shortly.
Se le ha nombrado un abogado de los defensores públicos para que lo representen en ambos casos y se comunicarán con usted pronto.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
And that was cases 20 CF 1791 and 19 CF 240. It looks like we have one more interpreter case with this group. All right, sir, what is your name?
¿Cómo se llama usted? Michael Hernández.
Okay, he's in the other group. Okay. All right, Mr. Hernandez, you're arrested on a charge of criminal mischief.
Señor Hernández, usted fue arrestado por una acusación de daños a propiedad ajena.
Your bond in this case is $500.
La fianza es de $500.
The public defender's office is appointed to represent you.
Se le ha nombrado un abogado de los defensores públicos para que lo representen.
Your next court date will be
If still in jail, July 9th. If out, July 24th in courtroom 4E at 8:30 a.m.
La próxima, se le ha nombrado un abogado de los defensores públicos. La próxima vista será el 9 de julio, si es que todavía está en la cárcel. Y si ha salido, será el 24 de julio en la sala 4E a las 8:30 de la mañana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Morales, that's case 20MM1508.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Looks like we have another one. Okay. What is your name, sir?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
César Damián.
¿Cómo?
César Damián.
César Damián.
Gene Sansone. And this is, I'm sorry, this is Daniel Sansone.
These are Damien.
I'm sorry. Caesar Damien.
Damien Arroyo, or I don't know how you said that.
Oh, here we are. All right, Mr. Damien Araujo, you were arrested for driving without a valid driver's license and attaching a tag not assigned.
Señor Damián Araujo, usted fue arrestado por conducir sin una licencia válida y por utilizar una tablilla que no le pertenecía o correspondía al vehículo.
Your bond is $500 on the no valid driver's license, $250 for attaching tag not assigned.
La fianza es de $500 en el cargo por conducir sin una licencia válida y $250 en el cargo por haberle puesto una tablilla que no era de ese cargo.
You are out on bond in 2 other cases, but I'm not going to take action on those cases at this time.
Usted ya había salido por otros 2 casos pagando una fianza. Por el momento no voy a tomar ninguna acción sobre esos 2 casos.
But if you post bond, you have to stay out of trouble. If you get arrested again, you will likely be sitting in jail without bond until your cases are resolved.
Así que es muy importante, ya no puede meterse en más problemas. Si usted vuelve a meterse en problemas, va a ser arrestado y si lo arrestan, entonces va a estar en la cárcel sin que se le asigne fianza hasta que se resuelvan sus casos.
The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in these cases.
Se ha nombrado un abogado de los defensores públicos para que lo representen.
Your next court date on these cases will be
Next court date for 2020, CT 1602 and 03, if still in jail, July 9th, if filed, July 21st, in courtroom 5B at 9:30 a.m.
La próxima vista será el 9 de julio si es que todavía está en la cárcel y si ha salido será el 21 de julio en la sala 5B a las 9:30 de la mañana.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Mr. Morales, that's cases 20 CT 1602 and 20 CT 1603. Anyone else need the interpreter?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Morales.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Justin Capana. What is your name, sir?
Justin James Capana.
Mr. Capana, you arrested on a warrant out of Orange County for tampering of physical evidence. You have a bond of $1,500. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you while you remain in the Osceola County Jail. If you post bond, you'll be released until your next court date in Orange County. If you do not post bond, you will be held until Orange County comes to pick you up. Because of the pandemic situation, there is an ability for you to address the bond amount or address the charge itself here in Osceola County. You can talk to your lawyer about that.
I couldn't hear you, sir.
I'm sorry?
I couldn't hear you.
All right. You will have a lawyer appointed to you here. You can work with that lawyer to address the bond amount and/or work to resolve the case in its entirety. So you may be able, even though it's an Orange County case, you may be able to take care of it down here. You can talk to your lawyer about that.
Is there a bond on
The bond is $1,500.
They have a certain amount of time to come get me, or?
No, not under the present circumstances. All time periods have been suspended by the Supreme Court.
Because I got released yesterday from charges that I was pending in here.
Right.
They dropped charges in a certain time for it.
I understand.
I don't have no way to post
There'll be,
and it's my family. I'm trying to see my family, man. Like, excuse me.
I understand, Mr. Capana, an attorney from the Office of the Public Defender will be talking to you shortly. They can discuss with you what your options are. Thank you. Wallace Ray Cohn. State your name, please.
Wallace Cohn.
Mr. Cohn, you arrested on a warrant in case 20MM1152 for failure to appear on a charge of resisting an officer without violence. You have a bond of $1,000.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
You said a bond of $1,000?
Yes, sir.
I talked to the Bells brother. He said the papers they sent it to the wrong address. That's why I got an FTA.
Well, that may well be the case. Actually, if they notified your bondsman, that qualifies as notice to you. But you can talk to your attorney because if you didn't receive notice of the prior hearing, Judge Epperson may be willing to reduce that bond or agree to other conditions of release. But a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office will be talking to you shortly. At this time, your next court date is scheduled for,
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 24th in courtroom 5B at 9:30 a.m.
That's if I don't bond that, right?
that's correct.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Colton Shirley. State your name, please, sir. Ms. Shirley, you arrested on a warrant for violation of probation on charges of possession of cocaine and possession of alprazolam in case 17 CF 2543. Your bond is set at zero. It's going to remain at zero at this time. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date is?
July 1st in courtroom 4F at 8:45 a.m.
Thank you, sir. Carlos Velez Casanova. That's fine. State your name, please, sir.
My name is Carlos Velez Casanova.
And Mr. Velez Casanova, you arrested on a warrant for 2 counts of domestic violence battery and 1 count of domestic aggravated assault. Your bond is presently set at zero. The court will be considering conditions of release. I'm told that there's a witness who wants to provide some input, so we'll see what that witness has to say, and then we'll see the court. Do you have any prior history while we're waiting?
Yes, Judge. Defendant has history going back to 2004, charges of possession of cocaine with intent to sell, DUI, reckless driving. Most recently, December 2017, domestic battery. Those charges were dropped. It is not the same victim as today. That is all.
All right, folks, if you'll raise your right hand, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what is your name, sir?
Padilla.
Okay, what is your name?
Yolanda Andino.
Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am, what is your name?
Yolanda Andino.
And, okay. Ms. Andino and Mr. Padilla, the court is considering conditions of release for Mr. Velez Casanova. You are listed as the named victims in this case. I'm interested in any input that you may wish to provide with respect to that. We'll start first with you, Ms. Andino. Do you have any input or any information you want to provide the court?
No, my English is not perfect. I understand you perfectly fine, but I can explain and stuff.
Okay. All right, we'll call for the interpreter.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Theodore Leal, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has already been sworn, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Leal. We're here for initial appearance in case 20 CF 1716, State versus Carlos Velez Casanova. And we are here, we have a witness who's wanting to provide some input, and she has the headset on. So if you'll let me know when you have communication with Ms. Andino.
Sí. Ok, ok. Sí, te oigo.
Connected, Your Honor.
All right.
¿Me oyes? Okay.
Ms. Andino, is there any input you want to provide the court regarding conditions of release, and specifically interested in whether or not you are in fear of Mr. Velez Casanova right now, whether you wish to have contact or no contact, whether you wish to allow...
No es que no quiera tener
Excuse me, if
contacto con él, yo
let me finish.
realmente...
You'll please let me finish. then I'll hear whatever you have to say. Also, whether or not you would want the court to allow the defendant to return to the residence. Now,
Yes.
yes, you would like him to be allowed to return?
Sí.
Yes.
And are you afraid of him?
No.
No.
Okay. And if something like this were to happen in the future, would you have any hesitation to contact law enforcement?
Sí.
Yes.
Yes, you would hesitate, or no, you would not hesitate?
No, yo la llamaría si volviera a pasar.
Oh, if it happens again, I will call.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Padilla, do you require the interpreter, sir?
No.
Okay. Same questions to you. Do you have any fear of Mr. Velez Casanova?
No, sir.
All right, and Mr. Leal, that's all we need. Thank you. And if something like this were to occur going forward, would you contact law enforcement?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thank you, folks. Any further?
I just wanted to ask if there's any firearms or weapons in the home.
No.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Velez Casanova, I'm going to set bond in your case. It'll be set in the amount of $1,000 for count one, $100 each for counts 2 and 3. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will not have any hostile contact with Yolandita and Dino Vasquez, nor with Kevin Samuel Padilla. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. There won't be any further restrictions at this time. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court. Thank you, sir. Sorry? The bond is $1,000 for count one, $100 each for counts 2 and 3. Keith Bozeman. State your name, sir.
Keith Bozeman.
Mr. Bozeman, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any prior history?
Defendant has no Florida prior history, has history out of Georgia and Colorado. Charges of simple battery, domestic battery. Most recently, 2019 driver license suspended, possession of marijuana. There's an active warrant out of Georgia for a failure to appear. There's no explanation on that. And we were not able to contact the victim at this time.
How many domestic
Right.
batteries?
So, Mr. Bozeman, you live in Georgia, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When are you planning on going back to Georgia?
As soon as I can.
I'm sorry?
As soon as I can.
All right. Well, and you came down here with Sarah Webster and your children.
Correct, Your Honor.
Did you all come down by car?
No, we came on vacation.
I'm sorry?
We went on vacation.
All right, did you come down by car? Did you drive down here?
Yes, sir.
So you just have one vehicle here?
We have two. One
Two vehicles?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One at the house, so they have one vehicle here.
Oh,
We had one vehicle here, two vehicles at the
I
house.
got you. State any input?
That's a tough one, Judge. Obviously, Judge, the state would be asking for no contact with the victim, which I know sort of puts him in a logistical bind for getting back home. although she may have already left him here and gone back home anyhow. But I think that's about all I got there.
Mr. Bozeman, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $500. It will be conditioned upon you not having any face-to-face contact with Sarah Webster until further order of the court. Now, that can be modified once information is received, additional information is received.
And just for clarity, they can talk on the phone.
Yes, I'm just ordering no physical contact since they're down here from out of state. That might make it difficult. You can talk to your attorney about getting the condition modified to allow you to have contact with her. That may be possible. But until the court modifies that condition, you cannot be in the same car with her. You cannot have face-to-face contact with her. So, and if you did, that would violate the conditions of your release. You could be held in jail without bond until the case is resolved. Yes. All right. Mr. Bozeman, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date will be?
It's still in jail July 9th. It filed July 21st in courtroom 5B at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
John Fabian? All right, state your name, sir. What is your name? All right, Ms. Fabian, you were arrested on charges of battery and aggravated assault. Your bond is $500 on the battery, $1,000 on the assault. The bonds will remain as said at this time. If you do post bond, I'm going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with Heather Mann. And you will not possess any weapons or firearms. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court. Thank you. David Eiffel.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
David Eiffel.
Oh, he refused to be brought up, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I have reviewed the affidavit in this case. I do find probable cause based on the affidavit. I'm going to leave the bond at $5,000 at this time. It would be conditioned upon the defendant not returning to 10 Trophy Lane in Kissimmee and not having any contact directly or indirectly with Yamil Martinez. Based on this arrest, I'm going to revoke and discharge the bonds in cases 15 MM 2788 and 20 MM 25. Be held without bond in both cases until further order of the court. That's, thank you. Public Defender's Office is appointed, of course. Jermaine Ingram. Jermaine Ingram. State your name, please.
Jermaine Antoine Ingram.
I'm sorry?
Jermaine Antoine Ingram.
Okay. Mr. Ingram, you were arrested on charge of battery and resisting an officer without violence.
It wasn't battery, it was touch and strike, sir. I pushed somebody off me that tried to take something.
Well, Mr. Ingram, again, we're not here to determine your guilt or innocence of the charges today, and it's very likely in your best interest not to talk about the facts of your case. I know you may dispute your guilt, certainly, but today we're not going to resolve that issue, and it's probably in your best interest not to talk about the facts. Your bond is presently set at zero. Any prior history recent?
Defendant has history going back to 2001, charges of grand theft, battery on a person 65 years older, robbery in 2007, disposition unknown, aggravated assault, and most recently a charge, an arrest for constructing synthetic cannabis and drug paraphernalia. He was found guilty.
All right. Based on the nature of the allegations, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $250 as to each count. That will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, it will be a condition that you not have contact until further order of the court with Jamal Strong.
That's my brother.
I know it is. You can't have contact with him right now until further order of the court.
Yes, sir.
Okay? You will,
It's 500.
I'm sorry?
Altogether, it's 500.
Yes. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date will be,
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 4E at 11 a.m.
thank you, sir. Jeanson? State your name, please.
Jean Johnson.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Mr. Johnson, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at zero. I know the law enforcement arrested both parties in this case. Any prior history?
No locals, one arrest from Louisiana in 2006, no valid driver license, and the victim, which is in jail, requested no contact.
All right. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set bond the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. Unfortunately, until further order of the court, you're going to have to find another place to stay. I'm going to order that you not return to the area of 1656 Celebration Boulevard, Apartment 313. You may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to pick up clothing or personal possessions that you may have at that address.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to order no contact with Kayla Randolph. Now, those conditions are subject to modification. You can talk to your attorney about the possibility of getting those modified if you want. But you have to strictly comply and tell her unless they are modified.
No, no problem. They have my question of kind of haven't done this. My wallet, it was taken. I don't have any family in the state. Is there a way to post the bond myself with the confiscated wallet?
Okay. So your wallet is in evidence or in property?
Yes, sir.
You should be able to ring.
They will let you get your phone and your wallet for bond purposes and to call someone.
Okay.
Just speak to the correction officer about it.
Okay, thanks.
If there are issues, if you don't get out right away, an attorney from the Public Defender's Office will be talking to you. They can assist you with that. Your next court date will be?
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 4E at 11 a.m.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Zachariah McCowan? State your name, sir. Mr. McCowan, you're arrested on charges of use of the identification of another without consent, theft of a credit card, and credit card fraud more than 2 times or more than $100. Your bond total is $2,500. I'm going to leave it at that amount at this time. The bond will be conditioned upon you not having contact directly or indirectly with Arturo Banza, and you will not return to the area of 660 Cornerstone Drive, on Kissimmee. You will not possess any person's identification or credit information without written permission from that person. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court. The public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Thank you.
And yet you will not consider that I give you.
Nicholas Omo Vance. State your name, please.
Nicholas Olmo.
Mr. Olmo, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Any prior history?
Defendant has history going back to 2016, no valid driver's license, failure to appear on that arrest. And the most recent arrest, April 2020, domestic battery, which is the same victim as today. We were not able to contact the victim today.
Your Honor. Sir, excuse me?
Yes, sir.
I know I have priors, but I was just wondering if I could just get back on PTR and place my bond today, because I have to go to work and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's, most people do. Yeah, I mean, on the facts of this, excuse me, sir, if you'll just listen for a minute. Thank you. Based on the facts of this case, the court will set bond in the amount of $100. You cannot be released on direct pretrial release due to the nature of the charge. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. It will be conditioned upon you not returning to the area of 809 Blank Court in Kissimmee. You may do so on one occasion, accompanied by a law enforcement officer, to pick up any clothing or personal possessions you may have at that address. You will not have any contact directly or indirectly with Jessica Johnson. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. These conditions are subject to modification as the case progresses. You can talk to your attorney about that, but until or unless there is a court modification of those conditions, you cannot violate them, even if Ms. Johnson seeks to have contact with you or seeks your return to the residence. If you do so, you'll very possibly wind up sitting in jail with no bond until the case is resolved. Your next court date will be?
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 4E at 11 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The residence that we argued at is my family's house. So I was just wondering if she can go to her mom's house while we go through over this case.
Well,
and so I can resign back to my house, because then I won't have no place to live. You understand?
I understand what you're saying.
So can something happen with that factor? Or
Yes, sir.
thank you.
We'll allow pretrial release to contact the victim. If she's not residing at the residence, you will be allowed to return. Unless they verify that, though, the no return remains in effect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jorge Otero Marine. State your name, sir.
Jorge Otero Marin.
Mr. Otero Marin, you're arrested on a charge of petty theft. You have a bond of $500. You are currently out on bond in case 20 CF 1486, and based on this arrest, your bond in that case is revoked and discharged. You'll be held without bond pending further order by Judge Karsten. You're currently out on pretrial release in case 20 MM 633, and that pretrial release is revoked. You'll be held without bond in that case pending further order of Judge Arendis. Your next court date in this case is?
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 4E at 11 a.m.
I have a question, Your Honor. Y'all don't have a bond?
No, sir, you do not. Thank you.
And when's my next court date?
July. If you're still in jail, your next court date is? July 9th. Roberto Rivera Resto.
Your Honor, he refused to be brought up.
All right. Well, I will be setting bond on the violation of the bond condition in a domestic violence case. Set bond in that in the amount of $1,000. remain $500 on resisting the condition of the bond, and not have contact directly or indirectly with
Angelina Izquierdo.
yes. I'm sorry, what's the first name on it?
I think it's Angelina. The last name is
Izquierdo.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take any action on the case at this time. And why does this have a felony case number?
Because the
Okay. Fair enough. All right, Clayton Griffin. State your name, please.
Clayton Griffin.
All right, Ms. Griffin, we were, well, you were arrested on a warrant for kidnapping, robbery with a firearm, grand theft, fraudulent use of personal identification information, and unlawful use of a stolen credit or debit card. Your bond is set at 0 on the first 2 counts, $1,000 on each of the other 3 counts. Does the Public Defender's Office have a conflict in this case?
They already conflicted off. They represent a co-defendant, and RCC represents another co-defendant. So I think both the PD and RCC have a conflict.
I didn't run a conflict check, so.
Okay, well, the Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you at this time. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court. Thank you. Sorry, oh, there was an information, that's not my paperwork.
next court date, July 6th, in courtroom 5F at 8:15 a.m.
I'll see you on July 6th. Thank you. Lou Stevens. We have Lou Stevens?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, sir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Stevens. State your name, please.
Lou Stevens.
Mr. Stevens, you arrested on a charges of aggravated battery, armed burglary, and false imprisonment. Your bond is $3,500 for the aggravated battery, 0 on the armed burglary, and $3,000 for false imprisonment. And I believe the Public Defender's Office is going to have a conflict in this case as well, but
Yes, sir. I was going to state I was going to go in pro se up under Florida Statute 3.111, and I'm giving notice of a participation in Discovery 3.220, and I would ask at this time for a bond on the, I think it was the, read those charges again?
it was the armed burglary charge,
Yes,
it's
sir.
0 bond.
Can I have a bond on that, sir?
No, it's not going to be set today, Mr. Stevens. You certainly can file a written motion for bond. You have, Mr. Stevens, you do have the right to represent yourself, but it does come with some significant potential disadvantages.
Yes, sir.
And if you decide to represent yourself, I'll need to have a conversation with you about that. Again, it's your call to make. Is this, what division is this in? All right, well, I'm going to allow Judge Wooten to have the conversation with you, but let me go through some of the conversation he'll be having with you, just so you know what your options are and what the potential consequences are.
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have the right to have a lawyer represent you in this case?
Absolutely.
And if you cannot afford to hire your own lawyer, the court would appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
That lawyer would represent you at no cost to you at this time. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you're telling me that you do not want the court to appoint a lawyer? Is that correct? All right. I need to explain to you some of the ways that having a lawyer represent you can be to your advantage. A lawyer has experience and knowledge of the entire trial process. The lawyer can call witnesses for you, question witnesses against you, and present evidence on your behalf. The lawyer, if your case goes to trial, will question the potential jurors. The lawyer has experience to know which jurors would be in your best interest to have remain on the jury and which potential jurors it might be in your best interest to exclude from the jury. The lawyer can also advise you of the harm and consequences of what you say in court and what you have a right not to say. The lawyer would object to improper questions asked by the prosecutor. Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir, I absolutely do.
Okay. Now, lawyers, of course, have studied rules of evidence and know what evidence can or cannot come into be admitted at your trial. And the lawyer also would argue for your side during the whole trial and present the best legal argument for your defense. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. As it is almost always unwise to represent yourself in court, let me discuss a few of the potential disadvantages of representing yourself. Do you understand that if you elect to represent yourself, you will not get any special treatment from the court or from the prosecutor who's handling your case because you chose to represent yourself?
Yes, sir, I understand.
All right. You also, if you represent yourself, must follow all the procedural and substantive rules of criminal law, which are the same rules that take lawyers a number of years to learn and follow. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. While you are in custody, you'll be limited as to the resources that might be available to you. A lawyer would have less restriction in researching your defense. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Your access to the state attorney, which is the prosecutor, would be severely reduced as compared to a lawyer who can easily contact the state attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
All right. All right. And of course, if you're disruptive in court, which I wouldn't expect, but if you are disruptive in court, you understand that the court can terminate your self-representation and remove you from the courtroom.
Yes, sir. Professionalism deserves courtesy, sir.
Okay. All right, and finally, if you do choose to represent yourself and you are convicted at trial, you cannot claim that you did not receive effective assistance of counsel in your appeal. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir, that's absolutely correct.
All right. You understand what the charges are against you?
Yes, sir.
The state hasn't made a formal charging decision in this case. There's not an information, is that correct, Madam Clerk? There's not an information filed in this case. Okay. So the state will be reviewing the police reports in your case and deciding what charges, if any, they will file against you.
Absolutely.
But the charges that you arrested on are serious offenses. Particularly the armed burglary charge is, the armed burglary charge is a first-degree felony, which is punishable by up to life in prison. Do you understand?
That's a PDL. Yes, sir.
Okay. And of course, if you are convicted, you would have a permanent criminal record. And if you're not a United States citizen, a conviction would subject you to deportation. Do you understand? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I understand the ramifications of what's happening.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the ball rolling because I'm a dialysis patient.
Well, I understand.
Health conditions. Go ahead, sir.
I understand that, Mr. Stevens, and you don't have to explain your reasoning. I just am required to advise you of some things before we proceed further.
Yes,
do you read and write in English?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, sir, I'm not.
Have you ever been diagnosed and treated for a mental illness?
No, sir.
Has anyone told you not to use a lawyer in this case?
No, sir.
Has anyone threatened you if you used a lawyer?
No, absolutely not.
Have you ever represented yourself in a trial in the past?
Not a trial, but in a few other proceedings, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm pretty savvy. I can move around the courtroom.
You sound like you know what you're doing, but do you have any questions about having a lawyer appointed to defend you?
No, not at the current time, sir.
And you understand the potential dangers and disadvantages of representing yourself in court as we've discussed?
Absolutely. My livelihood is at stake.
All right. Now, as an alternative to self-representation, the court can appoint a standby counsel to assist you. The standby counsel would not represent you, would not take any affirmative action in doing so, but would be present at your court proceedings to give you advice as to procedural issues. Do you want me to appoint standby counsel?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Co-counsel? Absolutely.
All right. Well, at this time, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender as standby counsel. I suspect they may be withdrawing because they represent one or more co-defendants in the case. If the Public Defender's Office does withdraw, I will appoint another attorney to act as standby counsel.
Absolutely, sir.
Now, Mr. Stevens, at your next court hearing will be with Judge Wooten. I suspect he'll go through the same discussion that I just had with you. Don't be offended, he's just following the requirements of the law. We have to keep having that discussion. If at any time you change your mind and decide you want a lawyer appointed to represent you, the court will appoint one. You
Yes,
understand?
sir. That's greatly appreciated, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, do we have the other group in yet?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Suheidi Ortiz Ramos. Good afternoon. State your name, please. What is your name? Okay, Ms. Ortiz, you were arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any information?
No prior history, Judge, and the victim requests no contact.
All right. All right, Ms. Ortiz, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. Until further order of the court, you're going to have to find another place to stay. You will not be allowed to return to the residence at 44 St. Andrews Court in Kissimmee, except you may do so on one occasion accompanied by a law enforcement officer to retrieve any clothing or personal possessions you may have at that residence. It will be a condition that you will not have contact directly or indirectly with Josue Osario until further order of the court. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. The Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you in this case. If you wish to have the conditions of release modified, that may be possible, but you'll need to do that through the court. You can talk to your attorney about that, and an application can be made to the judge who will be handling your case to modify those conditions. Until or unless those conditions are modified, it's very important that you strictly comply. If you do not, you'd be violating your pretrial release, and you could wind up in jail without bond until the case is resolved. Your next court date in this case will be?
If still in jail, July 9th. If filed, July 20th in courtroom 4E at 11 a.m.
Thank you. Kayla Randolph. State your name, please.
Kayla Randolph.
All right, Ms. Randolph, you arrested on a charge of battery. Your bond was set at 0. Do we have any information?
No local arrests. One arrest out of Louisiana, 2011, disturbing the peace, and the victim is requesting contact only due for the businesses that they have together.
Right, but I can't remember what yeah, it's going to be no contact right now. So, Ms. Randolph, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $100. That will be conditioned upon you not having any contact directly or indirectly with John Johnson until further order of the court. You will not possess any weapons or firearms. As I said to the young lady before you, those conditions can be modified, but until or unless they are modified, it is very important for both of you to comply with the conditions. So talk to your lawyer if you want to have contact, if you want him to return to the residence. Let your lawyer know that, and the court that's handling your case can address the matter. But if you have contact without that modification of the court order, you could wind up sitting in jail without any bond until the case is resolved. Your next court date will be?
Is still in jail July 9th. If filed July 20th in courtroom 4A at 10:30 a.m.
I'd suggest you contact the public defender's office immediately. They likely will have to withdraw from one of your cases. If they do that, I'll appoint another lawyer to represent you. Thank you. Marley Wentz. Good afternoon. State your name, please. Ms. Wentz, you arrested on charge of battery on a law enforcement officer, resisting an officer with violence, and disorderly intoxication. Your bond was set at $1,000 on the battery on a law enforcement officer and $1,000 on resisting with violence, and $500 for disorderly intoxication. And this shows other legal constraint. What is?
She's out on bond, Judge, for Brevard County case, DUI, in January 2020.
All right. Ms. Wentz, it will be a condition of your bond that you not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or go to any bars or any other place whose primary source of income is derived from the sale of alcoholic beverages. Right now, the bars aren't serving alcohol anyway, so.
Could you repeat the part about employment?
I'm sorry?
Could you repeat the part about employment?
You're not allowed to go to any place whose primary source of income is derived from the sale of alcoholic beverages. So, the public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date will be on demand in circuit court. Thank you. Jacques Nicholson. State your name, please. All right, Ms. Nicholson, you're arrested on charge of battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting an officer with violence. Your bond is presently set at $2,500 on the battery on a law enforcement officer, $1,000 on the resisting with violence. Any?
He has history going back to 1982, Judge, charged of DUI, battery in 1996, and the last arrest being a violation of probation in 2012 for DUI with property damage and another DUI. He qualifies for pretrial release, direct control.
I saw that. So 2012 was the last.
That's correct.
Mr. Nicholson, I will reduce the bonds. I'll set the bonds at $500 on each count. It will be conditioned upon supervision by pretrial release. If you do post bond, you will not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages at all or any controlled substance without a valid prescription. You will not go to any bars or any other place whose primary source of income is derived from the sale of alcoholic beverages. The pretrial release will be with mental health conditions if deemed appropriate by pretrial release. Your next court date is on demand in circuit court, sir. Thank you. Elick Williams. Good afternoon. State your name, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Alec Williams.
Alec. Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams. Now, Mr. Williams, you arrested on a warrant for failure to appear for arraignment on a charge of driving while under the influence. You have a bond of $2,000.
Yes, sir. May I address something to the court, please, Your Honor?
You may, let me just, before you do that, let me just caution you, and it's likely in your best interest not to talk about the facts of your case.
Right, yes, sir.
But I'll hear whatever you wish to say.
Okay, I'm a professional truck driver, and I don't want to go in detail, but I want to talk about my bond. I was out on bond. I paid a $500 bond. They never notified me when I showed up at the courthouse on the 23rd, which was my initial court date for June 23rd. I showed up at 7:30, sat out there while they were putting up the tents and everything, setting up the computer. The clerk of court signed me in at 7:50 something and said I had to go upstairs. And I go upstairs to the second floor. Next thing I know, they telling me that
You missed your court
my
date.
court date was the 22nd. I said, no, ma'am, my court date was June 23rd. No
Okay.
one ever notified me. I worked for Sierra England Trucking. I moved from St. Cloud in 2018 with address 1735 Michigan Avenue, St. Cloud, Florida, 34769.
All right, just a
I've
moment.
never been back here to update, change addresses, and that's the only reason, because I was there the 23rd. My initial court date was the 23rd. So they revoked my bond.
I got the picture. Thank you.
Right, so I'm like, I'm sitting here, my health is deteriorating.
All right.
I don't know what's going on with my son. I don't know what's going on. I can't afford the bond out right now because I have nobody here to run for.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Just, I don't know.
I am requesting an ROR.
What I'll do, Mr. Williams, is this. I will reset the bond back to the original amount of $500. You can either post a new bond, or you can contact your bondsman if they wish to have that bond reinstated. I would reinstate the prior bond, but I don't know whether they're willing to stay out on it or not. But,
I don't even know, with all due respect, what's going on with the company truck. You know, it's like,
I understand.
It's just.
I'm not going to do it any better than that, though, at this time, so.
So what I need to do now?
A lawyer from the Public Defender's Office will be in touch with you. And again, if they contact the bondsman, the 365 bail bonds, posted your original bond, if they're willing to go back out on that bond, then I'd be willing to release you on that bond, set aside the bond as treacher. But unless I hear from them that they're willing to do that, I can't do that. So if you wish to post a new bond of $500, you can do that as well.
Well, let me ask you this. You say contact the bondsman or something like that. I don't know. I can't hardly understand what I need to contact the bondsman.
Right. You had posted a bond
Right.
with 365 bail bonds on Simpson Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay? They were to guarantee your appearance on June 22nd. And that's when it was set.
Okay, sir. My bond,
So that's all right.
My court date was June 23rd. This is where the issue came. My court date, the officer's getting a little, but my court date was June 23rd. That
Well,
court date
the
was
court
issued
date-
me before I was released.
All right, sir, I'm not going to argue with you about that, Mr. Williams, but the court date set by Judge John Savage was June 22nd. All right,
But you're right, Judge. I'm not gonna argue. I appreciate everything you've done, but
all right.
it's just a disrespect.
Thank you. A lawyer from the Public Defender's Office will be in touch with you shortly, and hopefully you can get out.
Next court date at Southern Jail, July 2nd. If filed July 20th in courtroom 4A at 9 a.m.
I believe that's all the initial appearances we have.
Jerry Haney. Did he bond?
Haney? Jerry Haney? He bonded? Okay.
Okay.
He's gonna leave his girlfriend there. but-
Whether your client's in here or not, Mr. Shields.
Yeah, Green?
Mr. Green?
So on that one. Yeah.
Yes.
You got two pre-forms here?
It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, fancy. Okay. I didn't know they did pre-forms for misdemeanor.
We have Amir Davis.
So,
Amir Davis, come on up.
Mr. Mendoza.
yeah, that's true. They wanted to know.
All right, state your name, sir.
Amir
Davis.
But-
No comment.
Uh,
Fine.
Davis, you're here, well, in what was case 20 CF 1519 and has now been transferred to county court as 20 MM 1529. Sorry? This isn't Judge Jefferson's. Okay, thank you. One more. Mr., well, your attorney had filed a motion for release on recognizance due to the failure of the state to file a formal charging document within the time period provided by the rules of criminal procedure. And it's a request for administrative transfer, but I don't see any information. Okay, they're hiding it. Okay, yes. You've been charged in case 20 MM 1529 with battery. That is a misdemeanor which is punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail, up to 1 year probation, and/or a fine of up to $1,000. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
How's he wish to plead to the battery?
Judge, we'll enter a not guilty plea on that, and I would ask for an originous motion on the
Right,
bond.
you don't need to ask for that, but that's fine. I'm going to set bond the amount of $500 based on the charge that was actually filed. The bond will be conditioned upon you not having contact directly or indirectly with Pedro Manuel Morales. Your next court date, if you remain in jail, you'll be seen on July 2nd at 9 o'clock by Judge Yancevich at jail arraignments. If you post bond, your next court date will be July 22nd at 8:30 before Judge Epperson in courtroom 5C, 4C? 5B. Okay. All right, so Mr. Mendoza or another lawyer from his office will be in touch with you, but you can post bond, $500 to be released in your next court date.
Can I ask you a question, sir? Did my charge been pushed back to a misdemeanor? Because I remember I had a battery with assault, with a deadly weapon.
Right, it was aggravated battery, they've charged it, they did not charge aggravated battery, they charged simple battery.
All right, and that's a misdemeanor. Okay.
That's a misdemeanor, correct.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Let's sign documents and then we'll. What? Your client's gonna be last since he's in quarantine. All right, you put Mr. Akins on the line.
Someone else?
Okay, that's fine, whoever it is. Yeah, if you've already,
That one will be quick. I promise.
yeah. I figured it would.
I haven't ever lied when I said that.
Yep. Okay. All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. It's Attorney Zara Umansky, and I have here with me my client, Carlos Miranda Rodriguez.
All right, and this is case 19 CF 2157, and we're here on the defendant's petition to expunge, and we have an objection filed by the state. I've reviewed the objection. Ms. Adams, anything to add to that?
I'm just making sure. Is anybody here on the Miranda Rodriguez case? I didn't think so. So, no, Your Honor, the state does not have any witnesses or evidence. We needed to give the victim a chance to be heard, but we've attempted to contact them and have not been able to hear back from them. We've mails returned and the phone's not working either, so.
All right, well, I understand the state's concern about affliction in this case, but since the case was not prosecuted, I don't think it's fair to deny the petition. So I will grant the petition to expunge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I will send the order to your judicial assistant.
Okay. Yes, I don't see a proposed order in the court file. So if you'll submit that, I'll go ahead and sign it then.
I will do that. Thank you, Judge. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, Jeffrey Lynn Brown.
Richard Mendoza on behalf of Zarina Hernandez.
Brown, good afternoon. If you'll raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Tell us your name, sir.
Jeffrey Lynn Brown, Jr.
Mr. Brown, in case 20 CF 1494, I've been provided a written plea form that says you wish to resolve this case by entering pleas of no contest to possession of heroin as charged in count 1 and possession of drug paraphernalia is charged in count 2. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
Count 1 is a third-degree felony, which is punishable by up to 5 years state prison, 5 years probation, and/or a fine of up to $5,000. It also carries a mandatory 6-month driver's license suspension. Count 2 is a misdemeanor, which is punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail, up to 1 year probation, and/or a fine of up to $1,000. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and fully understand the written plea form?
Yes, sir.
And I've got the plea form that appears to have your initials and signature on it. Did you initial and sign this plea form?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions about anything on the written plea form?
No, Your Honor.
Are you currently under the influence of any medication or other drugs or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Are you thinking clearly at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has any person coerced or forced you in any way to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Your recommendation is that you would be adjudicated guilty of both counts, sentenced to the time that you've already served in the Osceola County Jail. The court would impose a fine, court cost, public defender lien, as well as a 6-month driver's license suspension. Is that your understanding of the agreement, sir?
Yes, sir.
You've been represented by Ms. Cronk or
Ms. Hernandez.
Ms. Hernandez and Mr. Mendoza in this case. Are you fully satisfied with your lawyers?
Yes.
You believe it is in your best interest to enter this plea?
Yes.
You understand that if you're not a United States citizen, entering this plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
If you at any time are sentenced to state prison in Florida, and if you've ever previously been convicted of a sexually motivated or sexually violent crime, once you complete any sentence that the court imposes, you could be committed civilly as a sexually violent predator. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to have a jury trial in this case. If you chose to go to trial, at trial you'd be entitled to each one of the rights that is written on the plea form that you sign. You would have the right to be represented throughout your trial by your lawyer. You would have the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses who testified against you. You'd have the right to present witnesses and evidence in your defense at your trial. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses you have to be present at your trial. You also have the right to testify yourself, or you could choose not to testify. If you chose not to testify, you have the right to have the jury instructed they could not consider the fact that you chose not to testify as evidence of guilt. And you could not be found guilty of any crime unless a jury unanimously found the state had proven your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand? By entering a plea of no contest, you're giving up all the rights I've talked to you about, as well as the other rights on the written plea form, and there won't be a trial in your case. You also, by entering the plea, are waiving your right to appeal any matters relating to your case other than this court's jurisdiction to hear the case and the legality of the sentence imposed. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Brown, I've read the arrest affidavit by Deputy Jordan. Based on that affidavit, I find that there's a factual basis upon which your plea can be accepted. I find that you are alert and intelligent, that you understand the nature of the charges against you, the penalties you're facing, the rights you're giving up by entering the plea. And I find that your decision to enter the plea has been freely and voluntarily made, and that you've had the advice of competent counsel with whom you've expressed satisfaction. I'll accept the plea of no contest. Does the defense agree with the score sheet of 20.2 points?
Yes, sir. No objections.
Is there anything further to be said before sentence is imposed?
None at this time, sir.
What's the time, sir? All right, Mr. Brown, you'll be adjudged guilty of possession of heroin as charged in count 1, possession of drug paraphernalia as charged in count 2. As to each count, you're sentenced to 34 days in the Osceola County Jail with credit for the 34 days that you've served. You are ordered to pay court costs of $415, cost of prosecution of $100, $100 pursuant to Florida Statute 938.13 for the misdemeanor drug offense. A fine of $250, $100 public defender lien, and $50 public defender application fee. Excuse me. The money is ordered to be paid at the rate of no less than $50 every month. You'll have until February 1st of 2021 to make your first payment. Your driving privileges are ordered suspended for a period of 6 months. The court has no objection to you obtaining a business purposes license if you otherwise qualify. You do have 30 days within which you can appeal the judgment and sentence which is entered. If you wish to appeal and you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, I will appoint one to represent you. If you do not file an appeal in writing within 30 days of today's date, you waive your right to appeal. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. I'm being released today?
As to this case, you'll be released today. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. I believe that's all the matters of the public defender may be excused.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Mr. Longwell, are you, in case you're ready on?